Portions of the following program may be unsuitable for younger or sensitive viewers. Viewer discretion is advised.
Remember, the enemy has only images and illusions, behind which he hides his true motives. Destroy the image, and you will break the enemy.
I'm here to tell you tonight that the businessman, the mayor of this city, the police commissioner of this city, and everybody in the white power structure
Portions of the following program may be unsuitable for younger or more sensitive viewers. Viewer discretion is advised. Portions of the following program may be unsuitable for younger or more sensitive viewers. Viewer discretion is advised.
Remember, the enemy has only images and illusions, behind which he hides his true motives. Destroy the image, and you will break the enemy.
I'm here to tell you tonight that the businessmen, the mayor of this city, the police commissioner of this city, and everybody in the white power structure of this city must take a responsibility for everything.
Can you feel it?
Luther and I, and everyone in this arena tonight, are unified by the same great American values. We're proud of our country. We respect our flag. Wouldn't you love to see one of these NFL owners, when somebody disrespects our flag, to say, get that son of off the field right now, out, he's fired. He's fired!
Race is when you use your power and influence to subject people into inferiority. Utterances can't be racist.
Look around you, man. They own this shit. They own this couch you sitting on, them shoes you got on your feet, this building, this school, this country, you. We're behind enemy lines, dog.
So you must first of all remember that this system was not originally designed with black people in mind. Right on, right on. And it definitely was not prepared for black people to, in the end, begin to demand their rights and an equal share in this country which they died for. Right on. Hey, and we definitely are not going back to Africa.
In the church, we used to sing the song, "Good news, the chariot is coming." While you sit here today, knowing that you have come to hear good news, you must realize in advance what good news for you might be bad news for somebody else. Right. What good news for the sheep might be bad news to the wolf.
They say, oh, things are getting so much better for you. In 1849, it was hitting blacks on the head 100 times a day. In 1990, they hit them 48 times a day. Isn't it better? Oh, it's got to be better. You're saved 52 blows.
The only purpose of most black Americans on earth today is to destroy.
I think that's noble. Italians love Italians. When Irish love Irish. But when a nigga loves a nigga, it's an unpardonable sin. They have blood in their hands. When we say they have blood in their hands, we are not saying him, George Bezos, went and killed. But white people colonized us. They dispersed us. They enslaved our people. They sucked our economy dry. They are still sucking it dry even today. That's white people. Tony Blair, George Bush, Napoleon Bonaparte, Leopold, Adolf Hitler, Benjamin Netanyahu. All white people, they are the same. They are racist and they are full of hate.
I've been waiting for you. You have many questions, and though the process has altered your consciousness, you remain irrevocably human. Ergo, some of my answers you will understand, and some of them you will not. Concordantly, while your first question may be the most pertinent, you may or may not realize it is also the most irrelevant.
Why am I here?
Our world is coming crumbling down. The coons are coming.
You got to understand that white America has an uncanny way of making the victim the victimizer. Excuse me, master, for putting my head in the way of your club. Not that your club is brutalizing my head and putting hickeys on it. My head got in the way of your free swing and broke your shiny stick, and I want to apologize for that.
Your life is the sum of a remainder of an unbalanced equation inherent to the programming of the Matrix. You are the eventuality of an anomaly which, despite my sincerest efforts, I have been unable to eliminate from what is otherwise a harmony of mathematical precision. While it remains a burden assiduously avoided, it is not unexpected and thus not beyond a measure of control, which has led you inexorably here.
There are more connections in the human body than there are stars in the galaxy. We possess a gigantic network of information to which we have almost no access.
complex is older than you know. I prefer counting from the emergence of one integral anomaly to the emergence of the next, in which case this is the 6th version.
5 months before me. 3. There are only 2 possible explanations. 5 months before me. Either no one told me, or no one knows.
Precisely. As you are undoubtedly gathering, the anomaly is systemic, creating fluctuations in even the most simplistic equations.
Control me! I'm gonna smash you to You can't make me do anything like prick!
Choice. The problem is choice.
Let us remember that we are not brutalized because we're Baptists. We're not brutalized because we're Methodists. We're not brutalized because we're Muslims. We're not brutalized because we're Catholics. We're brutalized because we are black people in America.
Because white people made him to be what he is. They made him to look evil, because that's their role, to make all of us black people to look evil and to hate ourselves. I can't hate.
You're a nigga till you die. If you're a poor nigga, you're a poor nigga. If you're a rich nigga, you're a rich nigga. But you never stop being a nigga, and if you get to be educated, you're just an educated nigga.
Well, I'm told every day I'm on air that I'm racist because I call out racism. That is maddening to me, and I'm crying about it because it's crazy.
So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is teaching you and I and trying to tell the white man to get this powder keg out of his house. Let the black man separate from his house. Let the black man have his own house. Let the black man have his own land and his own property.
I thought the bitch was white! Damn it! I thought the bitch was white!
That's true.
I think that white people are so guilty, knowing what they've done to black people, that they feel if the deeds were reversed, they would hate the black man if he had done the same thing to them. So it's actually, it reflects a guilt complex on the part of whites when they ask us, do we hate them? And if you notice, Uncle Sam has formed a habit of going all over the world. He calls it the ugly American, or the American image. He thinks that everybody hates him because it's a guilt complex. And if you think that if you are worried about Europeans hating you, and they're your allies and your cousins, well, naturally it would follow for you to think that Negroes in this country would hate you, especially in light of what has been done to black people in this country by white people.
Now check it out. The white ball dominates everything, right? Knocks this shit out the yellow ball, the red ball, right? And the game's over when the white ball drives the black ball completely off the table.
But you have to see that all of this is hypocrisy.
I love Malcolm. Malcolm called me the Sunday that he died. I was working Basin Street East. He said, Brother Greg, you coming by today? And I said, Malcolm, I love you. And I said, I love you so much, I don't even want to take a chance to be there. He said, what do you mean, Brother Greg? I said, well, I close tonight, Sunday night at Basin Street East. And I said, but I had my wife book me a flight into Chicago at 8 o'clock this morning. And I'm going to Chicago, and I had way beneath my salary, booked me into a college about 10 miles from the airport. And I'm gonna go there and speak this afternoon, and I'm gonna stay there until they tell me you dead. Because I'm not gonna let this government get 2 of us for the price of 1. And I'm gonna call Adam Clayton Powell when I finish talking to you and beg him not to come there. Because today, the United States government gonna get you.
Hey. I'm assuming I'm on. Can you hear me out there? That's right. It's the return. Mr. Blows Your Minds. Yes, I took a hiatus for a minute. A lot of people didn't act like they didn't want to participate and show me any love. So I'm here for y'all. Once again, I'm back. Took that hiatus. Not because a lot of y'all was persistent. And one thing I want to say for you who are my subscribers out there. It was you guys of your persistence that did not leave is what brought me back. And I'm here today, and I will be here from this point forward on. That was just my new introduction on my new intro. They probably gonna make me change that up. But if I sound clear enough, or if you can actually hear me, somebody in the chat room put a 1 up, or just let me know that I'm clear, that you can actually hear me. I won't go any further if not, because there's some funny things happening. If anybody would like to just put something in the chat room, let me know. Okay, peace, family. Glad. Okay, Indigenous King. All right, brother. Glad to be back. I'm glad that y'all was patient enough to let me go through my hiatus. Sit back. There was a whole lot that went on during this time, and I've been watching a lot of these other shows and stuff like that. And the thing is, a lot of people are not touching a lot of the things that's out here. I actually got a video that I actually want to show, but I may not do it today, just for the simple fact that it's going to be deep and it's going to be long. But it's what's been persistently happening in Chicago, that a lot of people who are just kind of like observing and looking. Okay, Emmanuel Moshe, okay, I'm glad. If I sound a little scratchy or anything like that, just let me know so I can fine tune, because see, I'm kind of just doing this off the whim. But I'm doing this because y'all been persistent in staying and y'all didn't leave. I want to let y'all know that I was checking and I was looking, but you know, they were making sure that a lot of my stuff is not being seen. Right now, I know some of them are sitting out in this audience too. You know, about 7 out here, but I know some of them are just paid agents to be out here. No, they didn't get me, bro. They didn't get me. Not yet. You know what I'm saying? But we all on that list, and we know how that's going to be. No, man. I mean, somebody got to be out here that actually is not, you know, kind of like off of not what's supposed to be said. A lot of people out here putting a lot of fluff on what they're talking about. And a lot of this stuff, I mean, if you think about it, if I go back to the last time I actually did a video, it was right after I had told those who seen all those consecutive videos I was putting out. I showed you who was going to be in the office. I laid it all out for everybody. You know, and so to fruition the way it did, it was just like I wasn't getting the response back. Not saying that you particularly, those that are here right now, but you know, when you look at the numbers. But if you look at the number that I did for the white extinction, they had to stop that video. That video got over like almost 300,000, right? And they stopped it. And because of that, they stopped a lot of the videos that I was doing. So when you look at my videos and you look at the numbers, you'll see like some of the videos are 4 years and it's like maybe 100 views and stuff like that. So they were making sure that that stuff was not getting out there. And so, you know, as a person who makes content and tries to present information for their people, when you see that, you know, until you understand the game of it, then you be like, okay, you know what? I get it. So I took a hiatus because I had to sit back and reevaluate how this was and say, you know what? I know those numbers are not right. But anyway, enough of that. My whole thing tonight was just to reinvent, to get y'all back, to let you know I am back. And I'm going to be trying to put stuff out if they don't go ahead and knock this out, because they might just do that. You know what I'm saying? Because the stuff that I be doing, again, I don't monetize. The monetization makes you have to be where you're under some kind of policy and constraint with what they be doing. And it's like, I ain't trying to do that. What I'm trying to do is, there's so much stuff happening out here. And again, there's a lot of people who got channels and platforms who are talking about certain things, but they're not getting to the crux of what the issue is. And again, it's not for everybody, and everybody don't have that to do that. And so, again, like I said, man, I'm going to go ahead. I'm just going off the top of my head tonight. I had some put up tonight, but the way I had it set up, system ain't kind of work. That's how you see in the beginning I had to reset, because, you know, when you on that list, they watching you. And if you put certain stuff out there, they'll make sure I don't know if any of y'all got platforms that y'all do things. If y'all put videos out and they banned it right off, by the time it downloaded, it was already banned worldwide. That's what stopped me, because I was putting stuff out there for y'all, but they were banning it right off the top. So now I have to do it this way. I'm going to have to do it like this. I'm going to have to come live, do it the way I do it until they say I can't do it that way. So right now I'm just going off the bat. I got some stuff I want to talk about. But y'all in the chat room who want to converse, whatever you want to say, respond or whatever, we can do that. But, you know, let's just get some little stuff today that went down today as history-wise, you know what I'm saying? Because today being April 19, 2018, again, I almost been off 2 years. I didn't even think about that. I really look, I said, man, this has been almost 2 years, you know? But just to get something going before I get into everything, you know, give some praise to our ancestors. You know, you got Fat Domino's. Ain't That a Shame today came out. And he made that back in the day, right? You got the sit-in that happened today, right? You had the sit-in, you know, the brothers and sisters who sat down in the restaurant. Think about that today, about that whole sit down, trying to sit down in the restaurant and eating. Was that a good move? You know what I'm saying? Was that really a good move? Because when we really look at it, okay, we got to sit and eat in restaurants with everybody. Hold on, let's see, we'll read what that's saying there. Right, you're right about the indigenous king. Yeah, they do that. That's, again, we got to understand, see, a lot of people don't really understand the constraint we're in. See, a lot of people got this thing, like you'll see some people got channels that talk about politics. You got some people who talk about, let's say, they got all these ingenious things about how to deal with this, but that's not really, I mean, when you really boil this down, that ain't what it's about, man. There's certain things I can't say. Yeah, I mean, those who understand, because if you are subscribing to my, you watching my video, you know how I put and compilate to give a message. You have to have a certain understanding to understand, and so there's things that you can't have in a public forum, that you can't have that kind of conversation. You get what I'm saying? You can't have that kind of conversation because, you know what I'm saying, the boys coming knocking on your door. You get what I'm saying? They gonna knock on your door. And so, what you right, Indigenous King, keeping it real is kind of like that segment, like when they talk with Dave Chappelle, when keeping it real can go wrong. And the way we doing this, all this is really kind of an individual thing. It's not really like, you can have people who got hundreds of thousands of subscribers, like they did with Alex Jones, right? You can have that kind of people, but when they come to say, okay, this is it, we unplugging you, okay, now what's supposed to happen? They all, oh, that's messed up, man. You know, that ain't right what he done. But that's all that's going to be done. This ain't like this. It's like we got some building and we all congregating, and that's not what's happening. I mean, the platforms can merge at one point in time and become like that, but that's not what everybody seems to be on. Everybody think that paper, if you keep stacking your money, that's going to get us up out of this, right? But I found something interesting doing my research. I'm gonna put this out for some of y'all. I'm gonna see if I can put this out on the screen too as well. You know that, like, say for instance, you see that our people are start talking about, like, they're talking about being economically independent, building their own, and all these things. Have y'all ever thought why, you know, kind of like the establishment is really coming after us in a you know, in a strong way? Has anybody thought about why that really is? Have you ever really thought about that? If anybody want to say something, I'm looking in the chat room if anybody want to say something, because I'm gonna put something out. Because, you know, I think we have a misinterpretation. Because see, when you say something like that, when you have people like, you have the Advice show where that brother just went over to Ethiopia, right? I don't know if y'all watch the Advice show. I watch a lot of people's stuff. You know what I'm saying? That's how I get a lot of compilation, because I see a lot of stuff, and so I'll be like, okay, this a piece of here, this and that. And when I want to make my my intros and stuff like that. But that brother went to Ethiopia, right? And so he's talking about how being over in Africa, you know, you got a lot of our people who sit there and they talk about, you know, let's pick up, pack up, and let's get over and go to Africa. That sounds great. But in reality, is that really, I mean, is it really applicable? Can you really do that? Is that just really a figure of imagination of people who think that they could do things when really that's not the move? They got their own problems. You get what I'm saying? How are you going to be able to go in somebody else's house? Okay, let's say you in a situation. You know I always do analogies, Joe. Ain't nothing changed with me. I always keep it real. I'm 100. I don't do all that other nonsense. But I'm gonna keep it like this. Let's say you're in a situation. You lost your job. You was already behind on your rent. You know how that process go. You only got so much time left. You know you gotta go through the process, go to court. Those who know what I'm talking about know what I'm talking about. You gotta go to court. You might get an extension, maybe get 30 days, 60 days, whatever that might be, right? So in that process, you know you're going through, you say, man, let me I got a homie over here. You know, I got a girl over here. I'm gonna try to go and I'm trying to, you know, get in this, you know, in that. But you get in their situation. Come find out, their situation just like yours. They just ain't told you nothing. You just assuming. You come over there, house all nice, smelling good, food cooking. She already got the red letter already on the door before you got there. You didn't know that. But that's like it would be if we try to do that. We sit here talking about packing up gold is better, certain situations, but they got the red letter on the door too. I mean, you got the Chinese done came over there and they done, you know what I'm saying? Matter of fact, let me show you something. Did you know today, matter of fact, today, and I think it was in, let me see if I can get what date that was. Right quick. Let me check. Let me show y'all. Let me put you up on something. Let me show you how this game is, because you see how the Chinese have gone up in Africa, right? And they over there just doing what they doing. Do you know this date, 8/19? Let me see exactly what day. Let me get the actual. China went to Africa. Matter of fact, it's called honorary whites. Honorary whites is a term that was used by the apartheid regime of South Africa to grant almost all the rights and privileges of whites to those who had otherwise been treated as non-whites, meaning they was considered blacks until they got this. This was made on a case-by-case basis to select individuals, but also to a group of people, most notably East Asians, who were ascribed as honorary whites. Japanese, Korean, and Taiwanese were granted this honorary white status. And later on, the Chinese individually designated features of various other races was added as well. So the Chinese, Koreans, and Japanese in South Africa became honorary whites. They became honorary whites. Now check that out. Now, when you study race, you know I'm a whiteologist. I study all that. I already know that Japanese ain't considered to be white, but he's an honorary. Something about that Chinese, he's honorary too. He ain't considered to be in that family, but they do come when you do the history and go back up into them steeps. Everybody be talking about the Caucasus Mountains. You better look over there by them steeps. That's where they originate from, right? So let me click over there in case somebody is saying something. All right, so that's over in them steep areas. So the point I'm making is just the fact that you see that you get what the old saying is: give a nigga an inch, nigga take a foot, give a nigga a foot, nigga take a yard. Well, that's what these motherfuckers are doing. So how we gonna pack up and we going over there when they getting vacated up out of that spot? See, that ain't the move either. And the people gonna have to get to that understanding that that's not the move you're gonna be needing to do. It's not saying that we're not recognizing our descendants and saying that we're not African or African descent. Our ancestors done put in that work over here. You understand what I'm saying? I'll never denounce Africa as the motherland and that's a descendant of line. But let's say we all did pick up. Let's say what Paul Cuffey did before there was a Marcus Garvey. What Marcus Garvey did. What was it that was so, okay, if the whole true, okay, who's somebody saying, okay, the Chinaman is the island as well. Okay, yeah. Oh, my mother Russia. Okay, right. You're right. But again, all of them, Caucasian, Asian, Turkish, all of them was one group at one particular time in those steeps. Not the Caucasus Mountains, in the steeps, closer to over in that Asia area. They was over there, right? And so they are all a byproduct of each other. But the thing is, once they do the migrate, just like they talk about the evolution and the people who go in one direction and another direction, they end up changing due to climate and culture and all that other, you know, I always say hocus pocus. I don't really give no credence to it, but if that's what people who study that, because there's a lot of people I'll be watching who will be sitting there talking about some, like, they'll give credibility to everything that science say. And I'm not saying that science don't have no, you know, don't have no basis or no truth to it. I'm just saying as a curriculum, if you go into an institution of so-called higher learning, take it back to the origin where it started from. Did it not start from what we would call, let's say, what you call them? What you call them? It skipped my mind. It'll come to me for a second. But it's those who became the ones that would you call these corporations, right? There's a term, it'll come to me in a second. But it's them corporations that set up the institutions for the colleges, because them the ones that are going to end up eventually. Them the ones who was going to steal this country, right? The merchants, right? The merchants. Got the merchant, which I ain't gonna get into that. I ain't gonna get into that this first night. But it's that merchant class, them traders. Because that's how they do it. See, the traders come in first, then they bring the missionaries, then they bring the military. Check that out. Merchants, missionaries, and military, the 3 M's. Right? That's how they do that. And so that's what they did in Africa. See, when they tell you that Africa got the independence in the 60s, you can remove them out of the country. But then let's say, for instance, it's like saying when they did white flight with us. Black people moved in, white people got up and flowed and got out to the suburbs. But who owned them properties that black people was living in? We was living in them we lived in the properties that they own. And based on understanding real estate, they didn't have to put no money because the property became blighted. And so they don't have to put no money into the blight because instead ain't no profit in that. So the dilapidated areas that we be living in, why nobody be looking at the fact that, but damn, y'all own that shit. You the motherfuckers that don't put no money into it, we paying rent. But then what they do is they televise and propagandize, look how filthy and look how terrible it is. But a lot of those conditions have to do with the simple fact that we live in places that they own. That's why we can't, like, you see that stuff that happened with that sister in New York that did that, the hair, right? And then they uproar, they talking about, well, we're going to shut them down. Okay, you can shut them down by not going in and buying and purchasing, but you don't have the power to determine who can actually, you know what I'm saying, rent a store or purchase the store. But we don't have that. Yes, sir. Yes, sir, Lawan Moody. I hear you, bro. That's somebody got to be out here to talk real, man. Ain't nobody talking. Everybody doing all that other stuff. They're not gonna talk this because this is the stuff you put your line on. This is where you put your life on the line on. You talking this stuff that the news ain't gonna touch. Most Muslims who out here got the monetary, their channel to be monetary. They kind of like, they got to stay within that guideline. I'm not doing all that. I'm just gonna talk. Those who understand where I'm coming from in my heart, from what I am, what I'm cut from, that cloth I'm cut from, like you cut from, I'm going to speak it to you 100. But see, all these other cats, I've been sat back for 2 years. The only reason I sat back is because they wouldn't let me put nothing. They was banning everything I was doing. So I just like, man, I'm going to cut back for a minute. Then once they did that, I see they was hitting everybody's channel. I was like, damn, okay. So I had to figure out to go back into the, I had to go back into the laboratory and said, okay, I'm going to have to do it this way. I ain't going to be able to do it so much on the videos as much as I want to. But let's see what happens. But again, we don't own those communities. So matter of fact, that's why those school systems we be going into be tore up too. They're going to be tore up is because, okay, if the schools are based on tax, and if we not owning the property, and say the people who own the property, ain't they reallocating their taxes back into their community? But what does that leave our communities? Dilapidated. We living in all that tore up. Then they want to talk about like Chicago. Want to talk about how bad Chicago and the gun. But Chicago ain't got no gun stores nowhere in the city limits. All the guns is coming from outside of the city limits. And man, I got a video, man. I might play it just for the fuck of it. Fuck that shit. I got to do this shit, man, because I done did too much work on this shit, and it wouldn't be right for y'all who are in here right now. Wouldn't be right. I don't know how many ages in this motherfucker, but I'm just gonna keep it like it is. But I got this video that I did about the Chicago and what I really think. If you seen earlier today, what I had put the title as into like, I'm gonna talk about the supernatural warfare in Chicago, because that's how I'm looking at it. It's supernatural. Remember they say we would, those who into that Bible and so forth. But again, if you're talking about that supernatural, that's the stuff that you can't see. The stuff that you look like a lot of our people, since they can't put their finger on the shit, what they doing is they saying, check this out. It's you. So that's why you have a lot of these soft ass niggas be talking about this. And you know what? Black people killing black people. I ain't even get into that damn mantra, that saying, but wherever you live, everybody kill. No, we dealing with a whole lot of bullshit. And that's the part nobody wants to touch. We deal with elements unbeknownst to most regular motherfuckers and motherfuckers who do know. See, like that shit that going on, that's finna go down with that Omarosa. Oh yeah, she finna be an example. Yeah, but listen to the words I'm telling you. She gonna be an example. They finna show you when you cool that nigga who think y'all trying to play that game like she playing. Check this one out. We gotta move for you. That's what they finna pull on her. They finna show like, no, you ain't finna come up here. They gonna talk about something. Look, I got tapes. These motherfuckers saying what about this niggas? They said, okay. Again, like I said, you trying to pack up and run to Africa? We ain't got nowhere to run. If we go to Africa, we all picked up and went to Africa, we'd be like going into, like, if we was on public aid or we was on motherfucking housing, you gonna be last on the motherfucking list to get called up. How you gonna, think about it. We don't like motherfuckers coming in our community, setting up shop and selling us some bullshit. We'd be like, man, these motherfuckers need to get up out of here. But guess what? Wouldn't we be the same thing? But we wouldn't say because we black that, you know what I'm saying? We all family. Again, you know that saying. Everything in my skin ain't my kin. You get it? So, so she gonna be an example of what those who think they play the game, because a lot of us think that we could play the game. Like some people got this notion that if we, okay, I'm gonna just do it anyway. Some people think that if we play the game, build up, and then somehow a motherfucker gonna fall asleep and not recognize what the fuck you doing. Motherfuckers crazy like that. And I'm not saying this because again I love my people. I wouldn't do this shit if I didn't. But I'm just gonna keep the shit real. Some motherfuckers think that shit. Some motherfuckers think that you gonna build up, stealthily, do all this shit. Like this motherfucker don't got all the receipts of every motherfucking thing he do. All his shit is about surveillance. Everything is about surveillance. You ain't doing shit under this motherfucker not knowing. But people acting like you can do that shit. So what's the real solution here? See? So some people say, fuck it, we just, take care of mine and you take care of yours and we gonna be all right. Okay. That's your plan. Right? That's what you thinking. I'm telling you, see, she's going to be an example to show you if you thinking what she's trying to pull, like get in there, get some information and come up out of here and then ta-da, they going to show you. She's going to be an example. Motherfuckers ain't going to like that shit, but that's what it's going to be. She's going to be the example. And one thing I want to say, and this don't go to nobody who might be in here, but truth be told, when you check her background, you know how some people can look, you would think, you look at them and say, man, they cut from the cloth of us that's from this landmass. And that doesn't, I don't say that to be against anybody who maybe just have, parentage that might be from somewhere else and was born here. We're talking about those who got that bloodline directly cut in this soil. They be putting a lot of people in front of us that don't be cut like that. Barack Obama definitely was wrong, because somebody explained to me, how does a nigga born in Hawaii got to do with the cut from motherfuckers that's from here? Tell me. Tell me how that works. Tell me how a nigga from Hawaii gonna be like from nigga like me who's people from down south. What he got in common with me? Matter of fact, his daddy was from Africa. What you got in common with me? So they keep doing it. They parade motherfuckers in front of us as if like that, and we be falling for that shit every time. So again, when I talk about her, now she talking about, hey, brothers and sisters, but that ain't what it was. She was with the man back since down 2003, and all of a sudden now she acting like, well, I was ambitious and I was blind. I didn't know he was really like that. Oh, we all seen that shit. How you gonna not see it? But you know why she didn't see it? There's an element there. I'm gonna just say her father's Nigerian. That's all I'm gonna say. So if that, I ain't got to say too much more than that. That lets you know. And that ain't against, I'm not saying against, I'm just saying, people like that, man, they have the tendency to do that. That's just how they do. So when you look at Chicago, right, you got to say, what's really going on in Chicago, man? Is that shit really brothers and sisters? Really just brothers. But sisters are getting caught up in that shit just as well. What is the dynamic that is making people need to just, kill each other like that? And the drug game ain't that strong no more. It can't be that, right? It can't be that. I know there's still an avenue I understand for that, but I don't think it's like that. I don't think that's what that is. You got Cook County is the highest incarceration. Check this out. Cook County incarcerate 10,000 people a day. I'm gonna say that again. Cook County incarcerate 10,000 brothers a day. So do that times 12. So if the recidivism of mothers going in and out of this place like that, and then when you get in that time, you want to do 364 in the county, right? So if you get anything else, you're going up. But if you do 364, anything else up in that, so let's just say you drinking in there, you eating in there, then they send you back out to the communities. If they tell you GMO, if they talking about GMO over here, but then what about all this other shit? Because see, a lot of people don't be looking. A lot of people just think GMOs, that shit over there. Nigga, you got a motherfucking again, man. I just keep it. That's just how I talk. This is how I talk, man. If you're offended by the way I talk, I'm sorry, man. This is how I talk all the time. I just keep that shit 100. Nigga, let me tell you, if you gonna tell me if you went down to this motherfucking them little corner stores down here, you don't never see a motherfucking truck come in bringing shit. They just got shit all the time. The little places they sell them cookies and hot chips. What? Think about it. All going up on corn store, hot ass chips, red ass shit. I remember back in the days when that red shit was considered cancer. Remember they took the red, for you been around a little bit, they had the red M&Ms. Took that shit off because they said that red, that died, what it was, I think died number 9 or 7 or something, took that shit off. There wasn't no red shit for a minute. Now they come back even strong. You get them motherfucking hot stuff chips, them motherfuckers your hands be soaked. You got to damn suck your fingers to get that shit off. Right? So if you talking about GMO, so I'm just saying, if I'm just told you 10,000 motherfuckers can go in a motherfucking county in a day. So what kind of shit is motherfuckers getting coming in and out of there? And then undetected. That shit that has something that's going, metastasize later on into your DNA, something that's fucking with your brain, making you already hateful. Right? You're already hateful because let me tell you something. Let's get into this too. Now, everybody talk about that Willie Lynch letter shit, right? I be hearing about these something. Oh, the Willie Lynch letter, even Dick Gregory had one time was talking about that the Willie Lynch letter was considered to be propaganda by the CIA. Okay, let's just say that shit, it is what it was. But that don't mean necessarily that everything that's propaganda is pure lie. Sometimes the motherfucker put some shit out there. Alright, let me give you an example. You know how I do it. I gotta give you an analogy. Say Y'all knew me well. All right, I've been on this motherfucker 6 years, but you couldn't tell because you look at my numbers and shit. You wouldn't know that I've been doing this shit for 6 years, but it's because, let me give y'all something. Them motherfuckers fucked up some of my motherfucking computers. I had to buy some of my motherfucking computers because them motherfuckers gonna keep knocking my shit out. Because again, the way I talk, I'm gonna keep it 100 with you. But let's say, damn, fuck, I ain't gonna do that. I ain't gonna do that. So let's say propaganda. I'll just say, okay, you've been knowing me for 6 years. Motherfucker, you knew me or you just knew me like we was homies. Or if you were female here, we was kicking it, whatever it might be. Motherfucker told you, say, hey, Mr. Blow Your Mind, I seen that nigga walking down the street, that nigga butt naked. No clothes on, all that shit. You be like, fuck out of here. Ain't how that nigga get. He don't get out like that. Right? But it's so wild that the story they told you, you wouldn't believe it, and come to find out you see a picture of shit and say, damn, this nigga was actually walking out there naked like that. See, propaganda could be also given to you like that. It's so raw. It's so raw, so real to the fact that you be like, you know what? Ain't no way that shit could be real. No way that could be real. So, let's check that shit out. So, that Willie Lynch shit says some shit like it says, you know, I'm going to read a little bit for you. So it says, gentlemen, I greet you here on the banks of the James River in the year of the Lord of 1712. First, I shall thank you, the gentlemen of the colony of Virginia, for bringing me here. I'm here to help you to solve some of your problems with slaves. Your invitation reached me on my modest plantation in the West Indies, where I have experience with some of the newest and still the oldest methods of control of slaves. Ancient Rome would envy us if my program is implemented. As our boat sails south of the James River, named for our illustrious king, King James, for, you know, a lot of y'all with that King James, but anyway, whose version of the Bible we cherish. I saw enough to know that your problem is not unique. While Rome used cord of wood and crosses for standing human bodies along its old highways in great numbers, you are here using the tree and the ropes on occasion. Caught a whiff of the dead slaves hanging from a tree a couple miles back. You are not, you are not only losing valuable stock by hangings, you are having uprising slaves and runaways. The crops are sometimes left in the field too long for maximum profit. You suffer occasional fines or fires. Your animals are killed. Gentlemen, you know what your problems are. I do not need to elaborate. I'm not here to enumerate your problems. However, I am here to introduce you to the methods of solving them. Now check this out. Well, I'm about to read this part here. Tell me if this shit ain't real. In my bag here, I have a foolproof method for controlling your black slaves. I guarantee every one of you that if you install correctly, like putting in the program, and I install this shit, programming, because you know your mind like a computer, right? So it said it will control the slave for at least 300 years. And that was 1712. Add 300 in 1712. Where you at? My method is simple, and my members and any member of your family or overuser or overseer can see it or use it. They said, I have outlined a number of differences among the slaves, and I take these differences and make them bigger. I use fear, distrust, and envy for control purposes. Fear, distrust, and envy. You know who our people fear. We distrust one another, and I'd be damned if you got something I don't got. I envy you, right? So these methods have worked on my modest plantation in the West Indies as it will work throughout the South. Take this simple little list of differences and think about them. On the top of my list is age, but it is there only because it starts with the letter A. The second is color or shade. There is intelligence, size, sex, size of plantation, status on plantation, the attitudes of owners, whether the slave lives in the valley, on the hill, east, west, north, south, have fine hair, coarse hair, or is tall or short. Now check this out. All the different variations and facets of this so-called, if he gonna inculcate and plant this in you, and this was implanted in us. So you can say this is propaganda. You can say somebody put this out here, but we can see this. We can see the reality of this implemented in the people. Some of us, because we have, a different kind of cut, we cut differently. Like, we could be amongst certain people while they doing shit, but we look at shit different. our conversation might be a little different, right? We ain't looking down. Sometimes you have to even, diss it, because sometimes some motherfuckers are so full of so much bullshit that you ain't trying to get caught up in that, because you understand the whole mechanism why that shit is the way it is. But some of them are so permeated with that. Even if you came to them and try to kick that Willie Bow with that truth to them, they gonna be like, man, you know what I'm saying? I hear, but see, nigga, I gotta eat. Family gotta take it. I get that. But if you understand the dynamic of how this shit is structured, then you know the shit that you doing is part of the trap that he's laying for you any motherfucking way. That's how he gonna do you. So when it says size of plantations, that's like a job. Like you got some people who think, man, you gotta survive. I get that shit. Don't get me wrong. You gotta do what you gotta do to survive out here. Some motherfuckers do a lot of shit. They got a lot of shit that people who depend on them. When you got people who depend on them, that's what they use against you. If you got a job and your job is you got children, wife, maybe taking care of mama, grandmama, something like that, pop, whatever it might be, you know what I'm saying? Sometimes motherfuckers just gotta do a lot of shit they don't really want to do. But that shit eats with you inside if you're a real motherfucker. That shit gonna eat with you. And in the heart of your heart, you be like, man, I wouldn't be taking that shit from this motherfucker, be talking that shit to me at this motherfucking job, but god damn it. You know what I'm saying? I got a motherfucking car note, mortgage, all this shit. So that shit keeps you kind of grounded. That's the shit that's the unbeknownst, that's that supernatural shit. That's that shit. You be a big swole ass 340 nigga run a 4 flat and a 50. You got all that. But guess what? That interspiritual, that supernatural shit inside you, keep your ass constrained. That's what's happening with the niggas in the NFL. They want to. And let me tell you something. I'm going to go back to that point I was telling you in the beginning. I was saying, what people don't realize when they talk about economics and building, I'm sure why the football players, a lot of them really, when Donald Trump said they don't know what they're doing, he was right. But see, you got to remember, a lot of people come out of families, let's just say, a lot of people keep skipping over their 80s. Right? They like the 80s and had, they'll go back to the plantation, they'll go back to Jim Crow, they'll talk about syphilis. You better talk about the 80s. The 80s is the modern. This is the children of what happened to the 80s. This is what happened. This is the residual of what happened in the 80s. This is the byproduct of what took place. Let's keep that shit 100. Kimmy Nicholas, I miss you too, baby. I miss all y'all. That's why I'm on here tonight. Sunday night, I know ain't nobody doing nothing. Ain't shit on that motherfucking TV. Somebody got to keep this shit real. I'm going to try to be on as much as possible till they make me get the fuck off. But, maybe also change talk. Okay, you threw me off. So, I was just saying, anybody know where I was at? Where was I at? Just give me somewhere I was at. I'll get right back into it. Because I already got what I know. I was talking about the football players. Okay. It's because, again, like I said, you having those connections of people who are dependent on you. And so it makes it hard for you to just be like, just cut the tie and tell a motherfucker, fuck you, I ain't gonna do all that shit. You kiss my ass. Because you can't. So the football players, when Donald Trump was talking about they don't really know, that's why I said the 80s. The 80s was what planted. Like a lot of people who were born anytime between the 80s and in between that 80s up into that, let's say, late 90s, the middle 90s. See, some people scared that. They didn't touch it, they didn't fuck with it, but there's a lot of people who served that shit. There's a lot of people who was hooked on that shit. Right? And so you got the byproducts of almost 2 generations of that. Right? So what you think when people didn't deal with that, what's going to take place? So let's look at Chicago. Let's look at what might be manifesting. If they said that they used the term crack, well, what the fuck did they mean when they say crack? It must mean that shit is going to fuck your brain up. It's going to do something in your cerebral. Your shit going to be told to fuck off. So if that be the case, then you got to ask yourself, that shit is chemistry. That means that shit came from the top down. Nigga didn't figure that shit out. Because again, remember, most of us went to these public ass schools. We ain't learn shit up in there because we was living in the 21st century, getting 20th century education. But we wasn't learning shit up in there. It was just giving you enough to know how to count to pay motherfucking bills. You get what I'm saying? Some of us got lucky, was a little bit more intelligent, taking that little garbage ass shit, we can master that shit. See, how you know is like, say for instance, if you went to those kind of school and then you end up going to some school like in the suburb, or you transferred, maybe you moved and went some other motherfucking place, you'll find out how smart you was when you go to another motherfucking school system. You'll find out real quick, like, shit, I was an A student at this motherfucker, I got on here, I'm like a C student and shit. I become a C student. It's because they weren't teaching you shit. You didn't really know shit. Like something like shit. By the time I think shit like motherfucking sophomore year, motherfucker just probably taking biology. Like what the fuck? How the fuck you taking biology? You got white kids going to school, they getting that shit like in grade school. You get what I'm saying? So we gotta look at that crack with the Molotov cocktail of no education. Living in dilapidated motherfucking environments, motherfucking economically, ain't nobody got no motherfucking job. Motherfuckers is living off the government. Cause I gotta turn daddy in. We gotta get some money around this motherfucker. We gotta get some stamps. I gotta turn you in. He like, don't do that shit. I'm up on, come on here and we good, right? So look at the shit that they put in. So just imagine we constantly dealing with all this shit. We ain't got no medical, we ain't got no doctors and psychiatrists and shit that's gonna be dealing with us. Hell no. They ain't what they doing. You self-medicating. Why you think everybody on drugs now? Everybody taking that shit now due to the simple fact because you trying to self-medicate. Now, I ain't talking about y'all up in here. I'm talking about, you know what I'm talking about. We out here self-medicating themselves because that's the only way. That is the only way they can deal with, get themselves what they believe they get some escapism to come back, because you seeing more and more on TV, everybody dealing with this race, and then when they get a chance to talk, something just in them turning. It's like all of a sudden they got some little kickstand bullshit they keep saying, and they won't deal with the real, because again, they got people depending on them. That's what's happening with the football. You don't think motherfuckers ain't them families are like, man, you better shut your motherfucking mouth talking that bullshit, man. You gonna fuck it up for all of us. Fuck them niggas. You think they ain't no motherfucker talking like that? You think ain't nobody talking like that? Y'all think motherfuckers just sitting there saying, you know, just put your fist up. And man, you see how Ray Lewis was? Y'all see that motherfucker when he did that motherfucker in the Hall of Fame speech? Man, so you watch TV. Well, I'm going to plug this shit on and let you watch TV with me. I'll be saying some of the craziest shit, because motherfuckers be saying some crazy shit. I'll be like, what the fuck? What the fuck is that shit? You know what I'm saying? So, that 80s, man, that 80s and 90s did a doozy on us. That's like, man, I don't even know. I guess the only analogy I could give, I mean, shit, I guess if you dropped a baby and fell on his head ain't busting, ain't bleeding, and okay, stop crying, but you won't know the residuals of that fall until he or she develop, and he'd be like, he's like, oh shit, maybe that damn fall when you know, at that age, fell on the motherfucking head and shit. Right, all fucked up. It ain't 100%. So what did that crack do? That shit got up in our motherfucking DNA. See, they told you that you could actually get trauma that can be passed down in your gene. So you don't think that we ain't carrying and holding a lot of this bullshit inside of us? That's why we all got this kickstand shit about what, if you talk about really what you need to look at shit and talk about what the real solution is, we can never say this openly. Y'all know that shit. That could never be an open conversation. That's why a lot of people that got these platforms, they be talking and saying all that shit. They ain't gonna say what everybody know in the core, up in the crevice, in that hidden spot up in your heart. You know what the answer is. You know what the answer is. And guess what? They know, but the problem is, they prepared for you. They prepared for us. So that's why we say, we ain't trying to fuck with that. We ain't trying to go on that. Nah, they ain't where we trying to go. We ain't trying to go there. Because if we go there, we got too many, like, you y'all be saying that Jesse Lee Peterson, that coon ass motherfucker, that, man, I tell you, boy. That nigga there, man. I don't understand how, well, anybody can make a platform. But I done seen people who got platforms who go on this show, and they get me on the show. I'll cut, man. He be like, you can't come back here, cause you ain't really come. No, yeah. See, much like that, come out. He got, did I say white hip, man? Hold on, man. Fuck all this. I'm finna show y'all. I ain't finna talk about it no more. I'm gonna show y'all. Hold on. Hold on 1 second. Let me give y'all, hold on. Hold on a second. Oh, fuck up here. Hold on. Let me give y'all. Let me give me a quick break. Hold on, no, don't do that. Don't do that. Do this. This is what I want to do. I'm gonna get it set up where y'all gonna be able to call in and all that. We gonna put these other channels to shame because they ain't talking about nothing. All these mother's talking about how to make some money. That's it. Money ain't gonna do this. The information we need to be understanding, that need to be compensated and talk about, because they, as you hear Tyreek always talking about, they on code. They beyond code. They beyond code. Some motherfuckers is all up in our face. They doing all kind of shit. They doing all kinds of shit. And it's like, you know, the conversation has to be not so much about what we know in the core deeps in the depths of our hearts. The conversation need to be, motherfuckers got to get on point as to understanding what's the possibility. And all this shit, like let's say for Chicago and Baltimore and where the major cities are at, motherfuckers gonna have to learn, like, man, look, all that shit y'all doing, you better save that shit, because you might need it. You might just need it. And now to get some of that look like you, even though we got a lot of them too. Like, we got a lot of them. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, I would be a fool to sit here and just say solely, Sean is just this, but it's not. It's other things. But what I'm gonna do, I'm setting this up right quick, y'all. Like I said, man, I just slapped this together and I said I'm gonna come on. Normally I'm more organized. But because I was like, nah, man, I've been gone too long. And I'm tired of watching people out here who, you know, I mean, don't get me wrong, Egypt is great. Egypt, you know what I'm saying? It's fine. Mother's talking about evolution, motherfuckers developing from monkeys and dude. I don't even want to get on that, but I'm gonna take a quick so I can set this up because I want y'all to see this shit. I actually want y'all to see this. Let me see. Hold on, let me do this.
no numbers on it.
Cody Wilson has a vision of a future without gun control.
So this is a PRI Mark 12.
Where anyone can 3D print a pistol at home or privately build their own semi-automatic rifle. Lethal, untraceable, unregulated weapons. And now that vision is one step closer to reality. After years of fighting the US government in court, Wilson just won the right to publish downloadable schematics for just about any commercially available firearm online.
This is the direct material and digital expansion of the right to keep and bear arms. 11, yeah, you'll see there's no numbers on it.
Cody Wilson has a vision of a future without gun control.
So this is a PRI Mark 12.
Where anyone can 3D print a pistol at home or privately build their own semi-automatic rifle. Lethal, untraceable, unregulated weapons. And now that vision is one step closer to reality. After years of fighting the US government in court, Wilson just won the right to publish downloadable schematics for just about any commercially available firearm online.
This is the direct material and digital expansion of the right to keep and bear arms.
5 years ago, Wilson's organization, Defense Distributed, released plans for the world's first 3D printable gun. They called it the Liberator. But just days after the group posted those files, the State Department demanded that they be removed for violating weapons export controls. Defense Distributed complied, but then filed a lawsuit claiming its right to publish gun files was a form of protected free speech.
We said no, we're Americans. Americans have the right to access this data unquestionably, and that the internet is now the commons in a way that libraries and things were in the past.
Now the group has essentially won its case. Its settlement with the State Department will allow it to once again upload gun files designed for DIY gunsmiths, and promises to open the door for others to do the same.
Is it the end of gun control? I think it is in an essential sense.
It's not quite that simple for now. Homemade weapons have been involved in at least 2 mass shootings in the last 5 years. But they represent just a fraction of the wider gun control debate in America.
When criminals and dangerous people are able to create their own guns in their homes, it will become an issue in the near future.
Wilson sees his project as a trump card against the gun control movement that's intensified in the wake of February's Parkland school shooting that left 17 people dead.
Never again! Never again!
Defense Distributed is using its legal win to launch what it hopes will become the internet's most comprehensive repository of digital gun files. And as digital fabrication tools like 3D printers and computer-controlled milling machines become cheaper and more advanced, Defense Distributed hopes to unlock a new generation of DIY gunsmithing beyond all regulation.
You cannot regulate the digital material of guns anymore. It's out there. The flood's there. Everyone's got it. We translated our culture into the 21st century. It's here. It's going to grow.
The group already makes and sells its own milling machine called the Ghost Gunner that can produce frames for AR-15s and 1911 handguns. 3 years ago, I tried out that machine and easily built a working AR-15 in Wired's office. It's untraceable. I didn't have to go through a background check or any sort of waiting period to get it. The government has no knowledge of its existence. Wilson recently gave me a tour of Defense Distributed's Austin headquarters.
Ghost Gunner is a desktop milling machine. People have such a demand to make private rifles or private firearms for themselves, guns with no numbers, that we built an application, purpose-made to help you do that.
Neither the State Department nor the Department of Justice would comment on the settlement, but Wilson sees it as the next chapter in his anarchist open-source firearms playbook.
It's almost like we're creating a platform for a new propulsive force in our movement.
The company is digitizing as many guns as possible by taking analog measurements of weapon parts with gauges and a massive 30-year-old machine called an optical comparator. The device projects an object's image onto a screen where it's magnified up to 100 times. That allows the operator to map out points across a component like this AR-9 frame and calculate the geometry of every tiny feature of the gun.
It's all a lot of handwork. We come over here and we put the dimensions into a CAD model. We're going to do a lot of starting from scratch as we build.
And now they can legally publish those materials online. Of course, the database will also make those blueprints available to people who can't legally buy guns today. Where anyone can 3D print a pistol at home or privately build their own semi-automatic rifle. Lethal, untraceable, unregulated weapons. And now that vision is one step closer to reality. After years of fighting the U.S. government in court, Wilson just won the right to publish downloadable schematics for just about any commercially available firearm online.
This is the direct material and digital expansion of the right to keep and bear arms. 11, yeah, you'll see no, there's no numbers on it.
Cody Wilson has a vision of a future without gun control.
So this is a PRI Mark 12.
Where anyone can 3D print a pistol at home or privately build their own semi-automatic rifle. Lethal, untraceable, unregulated weapons. And now that vision is one step closer to reality. After years of fighting the U.S. government in court, Wilson just won the right to publish downloadable schematics for just about any commercially available firearm online.
This is the direct material and digital expansion of the right to keep and bear arms.
5 years ago, Wilson's about gun control.
So this is a PRI Mark 12.
Where anyone can 3D print a pistol at home or privately build their own semi-automatic rifle. Lethal, untraceable, unregulated weapons. And now that vision is one step closer to reality. After years of fighting the U.S. government in court, Wilson just won the right to publish downloadable schematics for just about any commercially available firearm online.
This is the direct material and digital expansion of the right to keep and bear arms. 11, yeah, you'll see no, there's no numbers on it.
Cody Wilson has a vision of a future without gun control.
So this is a PRI Mark 12.
Where anyone can 3D print a pistol at home or privately build their own semi-automatic rifle. Lethal, untraceable, unregulated weapons. And now that vision is one step closer to reality. After years of fighting the U.S. government in court, Wilson just won the right to publish downloadable schematics for just about any commercially available firearm online.
This is the direct material and digital expansion of the right to keep and bear arms.
5 years ago, Wilson's organization, Defense Distributed, released plans for the world's first 3D printable gun. They called it the Liberator. But just days after the group posted those files, the State Department demanded that they be removed for violating weapons export controls. Defense Distributed complied, but then filed a lawsuit claiming its right to publish gun files was a form of protected free speech.
We said no, we're Americans. Americans have the right to access this data, unquestionably, and that the internet is now the commons in a way that libraries and things were in the past.
Now the group has essentially won its case. Its settlement with the State Department will allow it to once again upload gun files designed for DIY gunsmiths, and promises to open the door for others to do the same.
Is it the end of gun control? I think it is in an essential sense.
It's not quite that simple for now. Homemade weapons have been involved in at least 2 mass shootings in the last 5 years. But they represent just a fraction of the wider gun control debate in America.
When criminals and dangerous people are able to create their own guns in their homes, it will become an issue in the near future.
Wilson sees his project as a trump card against the gun control movement that's intensified in the wake of February's Parkland school shooting that left 17 people dead.
Never again! Never again!
Defense Distributed is using its legal win to launch what it hopes will become the internet's most comprehensive repository of digital gun files. And as digital fabrication tools like 3D printers and computer-controlled milling machines become cheaper and more advanced, Defense Distributed hopes to unlock a new generation of DIY gunsmithing beyond all regulation.
You cannot regulate the digital material of guns anymore. It's out there, the flood's there, everyone's got it. We translated our culture into the 21st century. It's here, it's going to grow.
The group already makes and sells its own milling machine called the Ghost Gunner that can produce frames for AR-15s and 1911 handguns. 3 years ago, I tried out that machine and easily built a working AR-15 in Wired's office. It's untraceable. I didn't have to go through a background check or any sort of waiting period to get it. The government has no knowledge of its existence. Wilson recently gave me a tour of Defense Distributed's Austin headquarters.
Ghost Gunner is a desktop milling machine. People have such a demand to make private rifles or private firearms for themselves, guns with no numbers, that we built an application, purpose-made to help you do that.
Neither the State Department nor the Department of Justice would comment on the settlement, but Wilson sees it as the next chapter in his anarchist open-source firearms playbook.
It's almost like we're creating a platform for a new propulsive force in our movement.
The company is digitizing as many guns as possible by taking analog measurements of weapon parts with gauges and a massive 30-year-old machine called an optical comparator. The device projects an object's image onto a screen where it's magnified up to 100 times. That allows the operator to map out points across a component like this AR-9 frame and calculate the geometry of every tiny feature of the gun.
It's all a lot of handwork. We come over here and we put the dimensions into a CAD model. We're going to do a lot of starting from scratch as we build.
And now they can legally publish those materials online. Of course, the database will also make those blueprints available to people who can't legally buy guns today, minors, felons, and the mentally ill, who might now be able to make them at home. Wilson argues that's unlikely to happen, but says the possibility won't stop him from doing his work.
I'm resolved that because of my political principles and because of my belief in what's driving the project, that you have to accept that obviously people will do bad things. This is not in any way a justification for wholesale class-based prohibition on access to the right to keep and bear arms.
Wilson sees the digital library of weapons material his group is building as a way to undermine any future efforts to control the weapons he believes everyone should have access to. As Wilson admits, it's a dangerous vision.
I think almost without exception that people have a right to this kind of data regarding anything.
And now it has the legal approval of the US government.
Get this going. They're not gonna let me keep doing this. Let me see something. Somebody gotta let me know if you can hear me or not. Everything been getting real slow. Now, if you can hear me, the reason why I played that, based on, again, I did several other things. I'm gonna get back to everything that I was talking about. Hold on a second. I can't get back to all that. That's freezing this up, huh? Okay. All right. Hold on, y'all. Yeah, they all there. Let's see. All right. All right, let me know if y'all can hear me. Somebody give me a 1 or something. If you can hear me. All right, the reason I played that is because I don't know if y'all knew back on the beginning of this month, that became legal, where these mugs just actually have the technology. Okay, good. Thanks, Ike Emmanuel. They just came out on August 1st with that technology that they're able to create weaponry in their homes off of the technology, and that is undetectable by the system. And I didn't see nobody touch this. I know more than want to talk about it because they're scared. Look, ain't like we got money to go buy them kind of, technology to create them kind of guns. But the point is, they do. So that means that even with all this new regulation of guns and talking about certain guns that are not supposed to be considered, thanks a lot, brother, that's not supposed to be considered to be part of society, that's not going to prohibit them from creating those type of guns. So now, I was doing some research and it was showing that all the guns that's created in the world, now listen to this, all the guns that's created in the world, the United States have half. I'm going to say that again. Think of this world, period. Thanks, Kimmy. Think of the world and say, we don't know the total amount of guns that are created, but let's say all the guns in the world, America got half of the world's guns. Now you can allow them to be able to have technology so that they can create guns undetected and uncounted for by the system that they haven't, why do they feel like they need to be stopped, barrel, and loaded up? What's really going on here, right? You know, I did the videos about the rise of the Planet of the Apes. Remember when we talked about the Willie Lynch? I started with the Willie Lynch. I'm gonna go back to it. Remember when the James, when this Willie Lynch was on the River James in 1712, 300 years. He said that this implementation of this so-called system he was creating could last for 300 years unless a phenomena happening. Guess what? From 2012 to where we are now, there was a rise and a difference in our people. There was a lot of us who were trying to become a lot of informed, trying to, socialize, fraternize, and become, more in tune about what's going on, and some people trying to be political, some people trying to be economical, some trying to be entrepreneurs. All these things are taking place. So there's a change of mindset that was happening in our people. It's not all of us. It's not all. It's some of us. And so with that being said, there's a rise and a different consciousness in some of us. And now I'm gonna go back to that when I talk about people trying to get up and leave and go to Africa. Let me show you something. Do you not know that who they were deemed like black separatists? Like the Nation of Islam always keep, like if you look at the SLPC, that thing that be talking about all this Southern Law Poverty Commission, where that SPLC is. When they always talk about them hate groups, right? Now, when it comes to the Caucasian hate groups, we know what they are. Well, how come they always keep throwing the Nation of Islam in that, in that category? What is it about the Nation of Islam that make them really a hate group? And pretty much any group, do you know why that is? Have y'all ever looked at what a black separatist is really about? Have you really looked at that? Because if you looked at it, what you gonna find, what they consider these groups, and really it's not even really just that group. It's just the mindset that you have because you don't want, okay, you in a relationship. Kimmy, you in a relationship. Emmanuel, or Emmanuel, you're in a relationship and it's not working. You'll get to that point and be like, we ain't gonna keep doing this. It ain't gonna work. But that person crazy. That person ain't gonna let you go. Ain't no quitting them. And just in your mind to even think of that, they saying, no, you can't even do that. That's a crime. Let me show you something. Let me show you something right quick. I'm gonna read it. I ain't gonna show it because everything got real slow. Everything was like, we ain't trying to let him do that. I ain't telling y'all to go make no guns. I'm letting you know that they making guns. You know what I'm saying? They got the technology to be in their crib making guns. And it's legal. Now, what black channel y'all been watching, they told y'all that. But must well be out here giving you information. They're not doing that. They're not gonna tell you that. All right, so here it goes. Check this out. I'm gonna read you from Wikipedia what I want y'all to understand. Now, I'm gonna show you something. I said the black separatism is a separatist political movement that seeks separate economics, cultural development for those of African descent in society, particularly in the United States. Black separatism is a subcategory of black nationalism, stemming from the idea of racial solidarity and applies that blacks should organize themselves on the basis of their common experience of oppression as a result of their blackness, culture, and African heritage. Black separatism in its purest form as a subcategory of black nationalism asserts that blacks and whites ideally should form two independent nations. Black separatists also often seek their original cultural homeland. Black separatists generally think that black people are hindered in their advancement in society dominated by white majority. Now let's break that down. Now, a black separatist has a political movement, right? Now, I don't know if y'all watched that sister Yvette Carnell, who does that Breaking Brown. That's her forte. That's what she does. She talks about how galvanizing, she tries to actually bring political science to, like, you know, she informs a lot because that's her field of expertise. She gives that information, and you'll learn a lot if you think politically is going to help this situation to, you know, make it some better thing. She's a person you could probably go over and look at. You may not agree with all the stuff she talks about, but you'll learn this and that. Because again, it's kind of like the same thing here. I get some people who won't like what I'm talking about. Some people who are not going to like. You can pick and glean. Again, it's kind of like, you know, sometimes as a kid, sometimes people used to give you a plate. You didn't like everything. You picked and ate what you liked. You eat it all. But if you do, that's fine. If not, that's okay. But the point I'm trying to make here is that that's what she do. She does political movement, trying to, again, and seeking separate economics. Now, you got people who are out here who are thinking that if black people start to become independent, building our own business, because, you know, you hear a lot of our people talking about, why don't we just build our own? Why don't we just build our own, right? That'd be the mantra they like saying. But do they understand what I'm going to show y'all here? This is what's pissing them all off. You trying to get off the titty. You trying to get off that white titty. You understand? They what? No. You're supposed to stay there. You ain't supposed to be trying to do nothing else outside of that. This is the only program we gave you, and this is the only thing that's supposed to, unless you Nebuchadnezzar, those who are the Bible. Remember, Nebuchadnezzar took the choicest ones of the Israelites and brought them in, changed their name, and made them work for him. Well, you know what it is. So it goes on and says that economics and culture development. You know, we be talking about culture vultures, and we trying to have a black identity and all. That's a no-no. All this is falling under the umbrella of black separatism, right? And they said not anywhere else, particularly here in the United States, not nowhere else, only here. Black separatism is a subcategory of black nationalism. It's a bad thing for you to be black and want to have a national, to have an identity, to want to be unified. That is hate to them. Stemming from the idea of racial solidarity, unity. You always remember going back to the Willie Lynch when he says distrust. He says, I shall give you an outline of action, but before that I shall assure you that distrust is stronger than trust and envy is stronger than adulations. Right? The reason why we can't get unified because that distrust is so deep in us to the fact that no matter what somebody even presents somebody who don't really understand the facts, if it ain't in the realm of their consciousness, they can't even understand it. And they don't even they like, man, that ain't got nothing to do with me. So with that distrust, that seed of distrust that's been implanted, that's, again, like he said, distrust is stronger than trust. And we can see that amongst our people. There's a segment of us who are trying to, but then, like I said, that's the reason why I'm going to read this, is because this unity, this economics and political thing, all this falls under black separatism. Okay? And they saying that this racial solidarity implies that blacks should organize themselves on the basis of their common experience of oppression, as if that's a lie. Like we made that up. Like no, we ain't oppressed. Like that girl that what's that I can't even say a sister because I be doing the research. Y'all heard that girl? What's her name? Candace Owens. That one that was with what's the name of Kanye. Man, let me tell you something about her. Now, she doing her little circuit and doing all this whoop-de-woo and all this other stuff she talking about, but I did some research. Because I was like, man, hold on, man. Ain't no sis. Don't get me wrong. Sisters go get educated and come back. They don't talk like they used to when we little. They change a little bit, got a little more stress in their ass and hitting that T, got that I when they speak. You understand? I'm educated now. Okay, I got you. Okay. All good. Nothing wrong with that. But she got some little extras to it. You understand? She got that little extra oomph to it. She like Coke and Coke too. She, you know what I'm saying? Sisters got Coke too. They ain't quite all the way black Europeans. You know what I'm saying? They still fall, get them mad. It'll fall out. But when they at work, no, you can't tell them nothing. They be like, my God. But this one here like Coke in it. This one is strong. This is extra strength. This is the original formula. I said, you got it too deep. That's something I got to check. And guess what I found? That girl got a white daddy. I'm saying it again. I tell you to keep throwing them mugs in front of us. You better always check that pedigree. Again, if anybody here who got mixed parentage, you can't choose the hand you was dealt. I'm not saying that. I'm saying when somebody has that, and then they parade them in front of us, and then they're selling that wolf cookie to us like they down, but they got an agenda or a slant to what they doing, and they selling it to the other people who can't really discern what it is they coming from and trying to help to advance whatever cause she's a part of. Right? I kind of found out, looked up, that girl got a white daddy. See, you wouldn't think that, because she'd say all little cute, her people from North Carolina, and I was like, okay. So when I looked, look yourself, you'll see it. You'll see it. You ain't gonna find it in that. You want this and other thing. You gonna have to look like My Life. Go look up My Life. You'll see it. Well, see, she got a white daddy, and it says, I got it right here. See, when I get stuff like that, I be knowing I got to get that stuff and save it, because I know somebody think I'm lying. I'll present that to you. I'll show it to you. I just got to get this fine tuned up so it'll give me a lot more, when I'm ready to do stuff, it do what it do. But so you got people like that. So what I'm saying is this thing that we do with solidarity, and because we talk about oppression, because she was saying that racism is over. Right? She probably a free thinker. It's this, some people who coming out of this new thing. Again, these are the ones that's coming after like 90s, right? Late 80s, 90s. So, a lot of them was living with their grandparents. Some of them grandparents at that time, they ain't talking, they ain't teaching about this. Everybody they ask, every time they ask somebody, right, they ask before Aretha, and I, say, rest in peace, Aretha. But remember they asked her, like, well, what she think about racism from the time they said, well, things have gotten better. Of course, they're going to say that. Of course they're going to say that. Who in their right mind is not going to say that? They going to say that. But they say we got a long way to go. Well, if you got a long way to go, then how far did you move? You know what I'm saying? You couldn't have moved too far. We still got a long way to go. At this point in stage in the game, we should be like, we got just a little bit more to go. No, we got a long way to go. That means it ain't too much change. But they say some things don't never change. They stay the same. That's what this been. Just keep re-changing up and redoing it. That's all they doing. But again, I was all into okay, so we know oppression because not everybody feel it, because some of us, some of us get a better hand. Some of us are hand-picked. When I did that video that did about the what was that one that had Shaq in it? I can't think what the title I had of it. Had Shaq, and then they had the Lil Wayne and all that. I don't know if y'all seen that video, but You know, he said some questionable things, and then, you know, he got some things in the background. Again, I respect him up about their game and stuff like that, but it's kind of like the same thing. I look at Michael Jordan. I respect his game, but, you know, but outside of that, when it comes to the individual and some of the stuff that I think that you could use your, you know, stature and image and so-called, we know really ain't got no power, but let's just say your advocacy could be a little bit different. But again, he was too deep anyway. We knew that because we understand what happened to his father, right? He was in too deep, right? So again, you got these people who are advocating and talking about, you know, that's that old school stuff and this stuff ain't real and it's just a figure of their imagination. And then they'll parade somebody like this in front of everybody, and then they'll be like, hold on a second. Alright, so they parade somebody in front of them and do all this stuff. But the point is, black separatism in its purest form, they say, asserts that blacks and whites ideally should be two independent nations. Now, wait a minute, you saying white and black. White and black. Well, that's two opposites. That's two different people. Okay, if your people claiming that they Caucasian, they from Europe, and you saying that black people are from Africa, aren't we two different people? But no, we have to merge and be you. We have to be you. In order for this to work, if you ever read this book called The Golden Stool, and the missionary said the black man would only be accepted when he become a black white man. Well, that's what's happening with our people. As long as we can keep, you know, ideology, educationally, and all this shit about them, they okay with that. But don't you try to be you. Don't be what you was intended to be by the decree of the Creator that made us. We have to be something. We have to be what they want us to be. Otherwise, it's considered hate. Ain't that crazy? Think about what I'm saying. Anything that makes you trying to be independent is hate. So when you see all this stuff that's being promoted, we're talking about go to school and become smart, right? We're saying we want to create our country. We want to be better than them. That's a crime. Huh? You talking about going to your original culture of your homeland back to Africa? That's a crime. Matter of fact, let me show you something about this black separatism. That reason why when you look at Marcus Garvey, there was a dichotomy here. There was two types of people here. Now it says black nationalist versus a black separatism. They say there's a difference between a black nationalist and a black separatist. There's a similarity between the black nationalism and black separatism. They say they both are aimed for the rights of blacks. Okay, but there are a few differences. All black separatists are black nationalists. All black separatists are black nationalists. So those people who want to be separated from them are still like the nationalists. Like the nationalists, they're black nationalists. They're like them. They're going to show you the difference. But not all black nationalists are black separatists. Well, you know why? Because one is a field nigga and the other is a house nigga. That's the difference between that. Let me show you what I'm talking about. Black separatists believe that black people should be physically separated from other races, primarily whites. Black separatists would want a separate nation for black people. It again, as I said, you're in a relationship, and the relationship ain't working. It's become abusive. It's becoming domestic violence. Wouldn't it be natural for you to be like, man, look, baby, Timmy, it ain't working, baby. I got them. This ain't gonna work. And you say, look, it ain't gonna work, baby. It ain't gonna work. But again, you understand? These ones say, no. It sounds like some. What was that, Kathy Bates? What was that, man? What was that when she put that wood between that dude's leg and broke his shit? Damn, I almost had that shit. You know what I'm talking about? Misery. That's what this shit is. Till death, either she disable your ass to the fact you can't leave, or you one day gonna have to do what he did to get the fuck up out of there. That's the relationship we in right now, right? So again, it goes on and it says, about this nationalist and the separatism. It says this is slightly different from black nationalists because black nationalists don't always believe in a physical separation of black people. Let's say that again. This is slightly different from black nationalists because black nationalists don't always believe in a physical separation of black people. In some form, black nationalists do believe in separation, but not physical separation. So what they're saying is there's those certain groups out here. I ain't gonna say none, but you know who they are. There's certain groups who say, learn the law, play the game of politics. We can create our own communities, and they in theirs and they don't. But we have seen the history of that. We know how they're gonna end up being. We know what's gonna end up happening. We had Tulsa, Oklahoma. Always we gonna use that one. They ain't gonna like that when we say that, but that's the one that you gave us in history. So we're gonna always say, "Well, I'm telling Oklahoma." Brothers and sisters was out there, ancestors was out there doing what they doing. They built up, got a pants to the point. Y'all, the Muslims like, man, we can't have that. They went down and burnt the damn thing just like they did Rosewood, right? Same thing, right? So that just goes to show you that those nationalists who don't believe in separation and you think you can keep building, well, you already got your examples of what's going to happen. Now, I'm not saying I'm for or one. I'm just showing you why there's so much hatred going on here. So the other part to it goes, it says that, but not physical. So, okay, their belief is that blacks should be proud of their own skin. That's a crime. That's a crime. When a black person loves their own skin, that's a crime. Are y'all hearing me? Their belief, they saying that our belief is that blacks should be proud of their own skin, heritage, and beauty. What? Man, go look it up. You think I'm lying? Go look it up. It's right there. It's right there in black and white writing. It's saying right there. It says, but nationalists focus more on black pride, justice, and identity. Black nationalists focus more on black pride, justice, and identity. And their belief is that they should be proud of their own skin, heritage, and beauty. They also believe that there should be a justice for black people, especially in America. If I got a warrant, they gonna come see me. If it's murder, I don't care when they're gonna see you, right? Why is there a difference between what took place and what is now? Because they want to say the people that it happened to then are not the same people today, right? They want to say you today are not the people that took place in. That's not you. That was your ancestors. But we are in the perpetual, it's a continuation of the offsprings that they produce. But we the offsprings of what they produce. You reaping the benefits. We sitting here in a situation where we just basically a slow death. They'll dangle the carrot in front of us, a Oprah, a Michael Jordan, or they'll show you Ben Johnson. They're showing them that's just a carrot. Ain't nothing. That money, again, old money gonna always beat that new money. I'll put it like this. Let Michael Jordan, Oprah Winfrey, and Bill Cosby go in the corner and roll dice against Bill Gates, Warren Buffett, what's that motherfucker on Facebook, on fuckbook, what's his name? Mark Zuckerberg. Let them go roll dice with them. You better be hot that night. That nigga better be hitting all night. Because they gonna come out of them broke. They got that long money. That's how you win in that's how you win in the game. You gotta have long money. That's why you can't break Vegas, because after a while they just go print the money in the bag. You know what I'm saying? They go print the money in the bag. Alright, so I'm going a little bit more with this. I ain't gonna keep y'all long, man. Because I'm coming back. I'm gonna keep coming back until they be like, no more by you. Then y'all request, I'll make sure y'all find. And matter of fact, if you ain't subscribed, you should subscribe. You who've already done subscribe, what you need to do also is hit me on there's the Gmail on this account, I think, right? I think it's dropping serious knowledge at gmail.com. If you want to get and send me something personal, or you want to send me some information or something like that, that's where you do it. He sent it there. I'll be able to see it because I'm going to start being more in tune, all that, because again, I'm trying to get back into it. Because there's a lot of shit that just need to be talked about. Really, you just do. Because I done got bored watching these other channels that's doing the same old monotonous shit, and ain't nobody really talking about what need to be taught, or at least looked at. You know, so a lot of this we already know, but have you really looked at it? So I'll finish up this last part. It says, Black nationalism versus the black separatism. It says, there are similarities between black nationalism and black separatism. They both aim for the rights. Okay, I think I read that already. Okay. But again, they said they believe that there should be justice for black people, especially in America. I don't understand the mindset of that. I don't understand everything that I done read prior to where I'm at, and I got one more spot to go. How any of that is considered crime, a hate against you, or is it threatening for the simple fact that if we should unify and we should have love of self, of our hair and our culture, and giving reverence to our motherland, and try to, you know what I'm saying, be politically astute and using the government in the same form and fashion everybody else does. Why is there something wrong with that? Have you really thought about who we might be? Have you ever thought about who we might really be? So I know what they tell you. Yeah, even all that shit, that DNA test shit, man, don't fall for that shit, man. I'm gonna have a couple clones of your ass somewhere, perpetually fucking them up. You better not do that shit. And fuck away from that deal. If you did it, ain't nothing you could do now. You done gave it to them. But other than that, think about it. Okay, you gonna tell me, I'm trying not to get off the topic. You gonna try to tell me on a DNA test, you're gonna be able to tell me, pinpoint me to I'm gonna be from a location in Africa. Okay, take your ass over to Africa. I'm home. What family you going to? Who you want to see? What's the last name? Anybody, you just pick up anybody in Nigeria and be like, family. I'm be like, get the fuck out of here. Huh? Get your ass out of here with that bullshit. Huh? They don't even look at you the same. Now everybody be saying, oh, they don't hate it. Whether you hate it or not, but the point is, if you come there, you can't, it's like people that come here and take advantage of our situation. And then they want to talk shit about us. Then they get mad if we start saying, okay, then I'm going to start looking at motherfuckers who cut from my cloth and we only fuck with them. You got some place like some shit jump off, motherfucker, you can be deported back. You can't deport a nigga nowhere. That's why they always had, we was going to be a problem in that's why we was always going to be a thorn in their side. We're going to say, we're going to do with them. Can't send them back nowhere, but niggas take a DNA test and thinking that shit is going to be it. And that other thing about reparation, you better look in that law book about that reparation. You can't get no, put it this way, through history, being whiteologists, study history too. So I'm going to say, if you look at history and you see that the fact that reparation was given for people who had property, right, ownership, businesses, they ain't never gave no money just on the fact of no people. But they do say you can be sent back. They will do that. Ain't that that's what they focus on, trying to send motherfuckers back? But because a lot of us is to seek the blood of this soil, where you gonna send you to? You gonna take that DNA test and they gonna say, well, we told you from over here. Now you can go over there. And then you going over there, China, they done carve China up, they done carve Africa up again. China got this port over here, Britain and them still in there, because again, remember, as I was talking about earlier, in the 60s, yeah, they left, but they still owned the property. So they sold that, you know what I'm saying? Mystery, that hidden hand, by telling you, see, we left, look, we left. But they were still owning the property. They okay, having new management, having Obama running the White House. The same shit. So we put Mandela in there. So Mandela was running there. Everybody, see, they sold that. And Mandela, and shit, Winnie, you see how Winnie was like? Well, they ain't the same nigga I know. We ain't fuck with him. They wouldn't even fuck with Winnie no more. Now she gone. They wouldn't fuck, he wouldn't fuck with her no more, because he wasn't the same nigga no more. I get locked up for that long period of time. like I said earlier about, you know, what they doing. What you think? They ain't, you know what I'm saying, slip all kind of Mickeys in here. I mean, probably, you know, we're talking about clone and all that other shit. I don't know who that was. Matter of fact, shit, he had died before they said he had died, but a lot of people forgot that. You know they ain't gonna let me keep talking, y'all. You know that, right? You don't hear me again, you know what like my shit ain't right now. My shit ain't, I don't even know if I'm on. I can't even see to see where y'all at to see. I'm telling you, bro, this one is like froze up. I know I'm still on, but I can't see to see where y'all at. Hold on, man. Let's go. What's going on here? See, because there ain't many people on there. It's because certain situations, man. Shit. That's just what it is, man. Everybody ain't cut like that. They're not going to look at it for what it is. They're going to go with all this doctrine and this school, this teaching somebody gave. And I'm not saying nothing wrong with it. But shit, a lot of this shit is just cut and dry. It is what it is. All that ain't going to, it's not going to do. And I want to say something, but I'm not going to say it because, you know, when I look at Chicago, and a lot of people, when they look at Chicago, what they don't look at, why Chicago's like a Mecca. It got the Nation of Islam there. It's got the Moore Science Temple there. It's got Rainbow Push, which is at Jesse Jackson, right? You got all that there, which is, you know, basically with this whole ideology of this black identity and all that is in Chicago, right? So there's a reason they focus. And plus, when you look at the migration coming from the South, when a lot of them that went and came, a lot of people went through the Midwest. So Chicago got a real heavy population of a lot of that old Southern blood, other than the South, but coming up. I'm not saying other places don't. I'm not saying like Baltimore. I'm not saying they don't. I'm just saying because, you know, Chicago being the third largest city in this United States, that it's got, now that they are gutting it out and been slowly, you know, rejustificating Chicago to the fact that the dynamics is not even, blacks are not even really the whole population anymore, right? That dynamic is changing because, again, Chicago also has the sanctuary city. And that's the replacement. You know what I'm saying? That's where the replacement is at, is the sanctuary cities, who are also to get IDs and can act like they citizens. So that means they can vote. You get what I'm saying? See, I wish this thing was working because I had that already set up. I was going to show y'all something, but can't do it because they got me froze up. Right now, I'm so froze up. Look at this, man. I'm froze up. I can't even, this ain't moving. It ain't moving at all. I can't do jack. Wait up, hold on. Wait up, maybe. Somebody let me know if I'm on. Hold on, let me see. There you go. Okay. Am I still good, Kimmy? Who's that under the radar? Oh, I know who that is. What's good? What's good under the radar? That's my homie there. That's my homie. Yeah, I didn't know if y'all could hear me now because again, it was over here, froze up and all that. I've been going, man. I've been on for 2 hours, man. You know, man. Under the radar, you know, boy, I can eat some time. You can't. Don't ever call me on the cell phone, y'all, because I eat your battery be dead. I eat your battery the fuck up. You be like, God damn, talk to this nigga, boy. My phone go dead. That's what's gonna happen. But again, let me keep on to the topic since y'all still here. I see 10 people out there. That's good. That's good business, man. So, looking at that, man, that whole thing about that black separatism, man, how is that possible? That loving yourself, want to be economically stable, trying to, you know what I'm saying, have pride of self and beauty, instead of letting somebody else determine what is what. And then here it is, that's crime. That's hate. That just telling you that somebody got an issue, an internal issue of themselves. It can't be you, because if you got everything, if I got everything, you know what I'm saying, I got the best whip, best clothes, girl finding, you know what I'm saying, she finding a mug, or your husband, how you like it. You got all that. Ain't no need for me looking over in the other yard. Ain't no need looking at the other house. I'm cool. Anything I got, I'm cool. I'm good. Why you got everything and yet still you want to be superior? You want to act as if like you done did better than everybody in antiquity? Like you said, let's say if you take the Egyptians and what they did, you want to say you done did better. You done went to the moon, which that shit is. I'm saying we can debate that, right? You talking about all this shit you done did, and yet you still keep beating the mug down, and then you looking at him in the condition. Then you want to say, "Look at you, look at you, look out here." And you got some of those people who keep regurgitating that shit as they can't see, like a vampire. Like you can't see yourself in the motherfucking reflection. They very good at deflecting off of them. They never want to be like, I did something. We did something. I seen a video earlier today about a brother that was on the football. He was talking about how they was, protesting, and all of them when they start talking, they there with them, with the Caucasian, and so it's like he has to go into this. Well, my grandfather was in the military. My father was in the military. You got to do all this cushion before you give them, spoon feed them the facts. So you got to cushion they blow and try to be sympathetic when you the victim. You know how the beginning in that when Don King was like the victim making the victim the victimizer, right? Don King said in the intro. Remember how I played that? That's what they make, the victim the victimizer. Like it's your fault that you the victim, and our people will keep regurgitating, talking about black people. I got this one brother I recorded, man. If y'all heard this brother, man, y'all be like, man, he's sick than a mug, because he is. He said some of the crazy shit. He like that Jesse Lee Peterson. If y'all ever see that cat, he an old cat like that. Yeah. I'm not saying because he old. When I'm saying he an old cat, I'm talking about them cats that be like, he been around almost 80 years. And that's good. But he that type of cat that either this is hustle, like talking about us to again, giving cush and fluff and adulations and making them feel good. That's what he do to the Caucasian. That's what he does. He sit there and he does that, and he gets his money like that. And I be wondering, that's who you about? That's what you really about? You talk so bad, like he talks in third party, like he talking like when he talk about black people, like he ain't included. Like he ain't black. I'm like, there's so many of our people out here like that, to the fact it's like they try to defend the opposition, they be on the other team, and they'll talk about, they try to get the stats to back them up, and I'll be like, wait a minute, dude, you give me all the stats you want. I don't understand the history. But then what they do is say, well, that history was way back then. They ain't got nothing to do with now. I'm just like, man, come on, man. You got to get off that, man. See, you trying to push to make them feel good when you the victim. And I hear some people, oh, this victim consciousness stuff, and that's for Simpson. And wait a minute, dude. What you call this? What else can it be? What else can your situation in this country be? Well, you did that to yourself. You didn't apply yourself. You didn't work hard. All you got to do is work hard. Let's take us back before we got here. Did we work hard, or was it just plentiful and bountiful and you could just do it? Right? Like, let's just say we all back on the continent. Then we got Under the Radar. We got, what's the other brother? Did he leave? You can come too, Kimmy. You can come too. Got Kimmy, and we hungry. Say, man, come on. Come on, man. Kimmy, you go ahead and get them berries and bananas, whatever you do, we finna go get the meat. Now, did we punch a damn clock? Did we ask to sit down and get a damn interview? We ain't need none of that shit. We just went out there and did it. So when a mother talking about you worked hard, that don't equate, man. Because they done created a situation where you still got to come to him. You didn't need that. It was just your own energy. So when it says a man don't work, a man don't eat, it didn't mean that the nigga go punch a clock and did 8 hours of the day, bust his ass, and he made about $20 today. You know what I'm saying? That ain't what I'm talking about. If you don't get your ass out there and go fish, go catch, you understand? Did you pick? That's work. And I don't need nobody permission to do that. But see, this motherfucker said, he the type of motherfucker that said, he put his flag on the moon and said, he on the moon. You know what I'm saying? I own the water. If the nigga, let us say, if he could control the air, that nigga will make you have an air bill. You have to put your air in your mama name. If your mama got good credit. If you ain't got no good credit, you just said, I'm going out. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he ain't trying to bottle up everything, things that don't even need to be bottled up. But then, if you start talking about the facts of your condition, you wrong. You always gonna be wrong if you talk about what is real and prevalent. You got to be a hateful. Like somebody be saying, like, man, let me tell you something. That White Extinction video was so big, and they was looking so crazy in there that they cut off the chats, so you can't even read it. Was y'all reading some of the shit they were saying? But they saying we hateful and crazy. But if you read the shit they were saying, you would be like, do your boss know you talk? Oh, see, look at you. You look at trying to hurt me because I said something that you didn't like. Instead of just looking at the fact to say, we have been doing wrong to them. We have not been right with them. But no, you would rather say we in that condition for the simple fact that we naturally like that. You know what you know? You know what you love us in our natural state? When a nigga dunking on somebody. When a nigga running 90 yards on somebody. When that female walking and she thick, fine like Kim and all that other stuff, then you like that, right? So that's the only time you like it. But when it comes to if we is as sharp and as intelligent as you, now you guys you're monkeys, you're animals. Huh? You always try to throw all these people that you'll say that these people were, these are geniuses. Like, have you ever noticed they ain't never put black person face as a genius? Like, a black person can never be a genius. But damn, how did this begin? How could there not be black geniuses if in the beginning you weren't there? In the beginning you weren't there. But they created, see, just like that say, like, when they came to the Americas, when they came to them islands, they were only living in grass huts, naked, and all this shit. Motherfuckers had clothes. You know what I'm saying? You think we didn't have clothes? We got cotton, nigga. You think you was the first motherfucker to come with using cotton to make and build? We was doing that shit before you even knew what cotton was, because when you was in that cave, did you have clothes? From what you showed us, you ain't had no motherfucking clothes. Huh? You didn't have no language. You couldn't speak. None of that good shit. But you don't want to give us no credit for nothing. You hate us with a passion because that's that envy. That's all that is. It's just envy. Let's just keep it real. You want to keep berating me and my people to make us, and basically you just driving a lot of people in crazy. You're making a lot of people just crazy. And then you want to say, see, look at you. Look at you. Look at you. See? This is the naturalness of your people. This is who you really are. Not through the conditions of what they've been through, the perpetual generations of this shit that you put them on, that you get them to a part till they have to see. Think about this. Can you get so crazy to the point you snap out of shit? Right? Can you hit Sasquatch, right? Right. That's where Bigfoot come from. Bigfoot is a remnant. Like they say, a motherfucker that didn't evolve, Bigfoot ass didn't evolve. There's a couple of them motherfuckers still out there somewhere. He ain't gonna never let you catch him, and they ain't gonna never let you see him. Because you're gonna be like, that motherfucker look like George. That's what the motherfucker look like. You shave George down ass, and his ass gonna look just like that shit. Yeah, I know some of them motherfuckers, they mad. I don't give a fuck. Y'all talk shit about us all the motherfucking time. All the motherfucking time. And we don't do shit. We didn't do shit. We take it. You motherfuckers, they shoot, kill us. All kind of shit. Only motherfuckers that you got respect for is the motherfuckers you can make money off of. That's it. And if they get a little bit out of pocket, like what Trump told LeBron, or what that white woman said, just keep dribbling the ball, nigga. That's all you good for. Don't worry about politics. That's our shit. See? That kind of shit. You don't want to never equate us because you said you created an IQ test. Right? You and blacks don't score. See, this is the trick to it. See, they say the Asian, and then they'll say the Asian is one. Who's the second one? But I know damn well the Africans smarter than all y'all. I know we Africans too. But they never equate them in that. They don't never equate the Africans in that. And they be going in because how do they be doctors and shit? They be going to mother school and exactly. Right? But guess what? They don't equate that. So they say the Asian is smarter than the Caucasian. There's one more, I can't think who that is. Then there's a Caucasian, and then there's a nigga. But nigga been on your ass all the time. You mean tell me if I hang around you and you smart or you supposed to be intelligent, I ain't supposed to learn from you? Or is what you seeing in us what we really learned from you? Huh? Is that what it is? Have what we learned from you in that dysfunctional state? Is that who we become? Because we emulating you? And you, I mean, back in the day, used to show the Westerns all the time. Oh, boy, back in the day, the Westerns have guns and shoot out. Okay. They doing that now. They took it to another. You created more high-powered guns. They using high-powered guns too. So who we emulating here? We don't know what it is to be ourselves. So who we emulating? We know who we emulating. You know who we emulating. But you want to poster. You want to make us the poster of everything evil and all this and dysfunctional. But we learned it from who? We ain't make no school system. You did. We ain't got no TV stations. We don't create the movies, and the movies we do create, there's always got to be some comical, or that little bullshit, soul playing, bull ass shit, that kind of shit we got to do, but we don't get to do no real stuff. And everything, if you look at all the shit that they do, and it always in the realm of some shooting, killing ass shit. No matter how they slice it up, it always end up being some kind of killing, some kind of, you know what I'm saying? Always. So where do we learn our dysfunctionalness from? You, that's where we learned it from. And then you get mad because we might say what it is. Right? You get mad because we'll say what it really T.I. is. But you don't want that propaganda out here talking about what you did to us, that you made us hate each other. The old black male versus the young black male. The dark-skinned slaves versus the light-skinned slaves. You the one made the female versus the male. All that dissension that you put in us, that you don't want to admit, and that you see today in 2018 is the residuals of what you done. But don't talk about it. Matter of fact, that's happened then. But what happened to cause and effects? All this high science and all this shit y'all want to talk about, but you don't act like you don't understand cause and effects. And you gave a people, when you so-called emancipate, that bullshit ass shit, right? That's really bullshit when you think about it. Emancipate was nothing but a goddamn announcement, right? You just announced some shit, right? You announced some shit, right? But in law, it don't mean shit. So what did you really do? Nothing. So you took some people and you switched it up. That's all. Let's keep it a buck. What the whole shit was about was the South, who used to be with the king. Remember, the king owned this shit. But they don't want to tell you that they stole the shit from the king. They don't want to tell you that those that were here, because remember the ones that they end up bringing here, not the ones that was part of the king. We're talking about the ones that came over here, who was working and ended up after work. Again, remember Donald Trump's show was called The Apprentice, right? Because you got apprentice, right? There's 3 levels to that, and then you become a master, right? So you go through your apprenticeship to get to your mastership. You got journeyman, apprentice, and then you have master, right? So some of them, the reason why this whole thing about them talking about they independent themselves from the king is because they wouldn't look at them as family. They said, you ain't cut like we cut. Let's keep this shit, let's keep it real. That's why the American is really, the American Caucasian is different from that European Caucasian because he was never considered in the family. That's what they was pissed off about because that's what taxation without representation was about. Well, shit, nigga, we paying like the rest of them paying, but we can't get the same benefits, so fuck it. So the motherfuckers who will help stealing it is because this is a new country, they got all these resources, and that's what they built. Okay, that's what y'all did. Now we know y'all story, but then you mad and talking about, like in the beginning, talking about standing for our flag. Yeah, that's your flag. That's your flag. We born here under that, and the Constitution was wrote. We was in our ass in the fields. Where the fuck you had us doing, right? That's what you had us doing. And when you wrote the motherfucking Constitution and all that shit, we know that wouldn't have about us. See, we got some of our people so sick that they fight them to say, see, but Massa, it says right there, see, right there, I knew someone come supposed to read Massa, but right there, it say this. All men are created equal. But in the mind of the white man, you know what he's saying? Nigga, I wasn't talking about you. I'm talking about me, not you. But you keep thinking he talking about you because you're trying to use his words on him. His words is for him. His word ain't about you. But you trying to force him, and this is what's pissing him off because people are actually trying to use this shit on him. Now, am I against that? That's not what I'm saying. I'm telling you what's pissing them off. You really trying to be American, yet the Supreme Court told you could never be a citizen. They made an amendment, right, to add you in, again, comfort of mind. It's kind of like in the Bible, when it used to be back in the time when they used to do the sacrifice of the animals, right? Remember when they talk about the Bible, talk about sacrifice of the animals so that they could, right, atone for their sins. But what happened is Muslims just getting any kind of animals, sick animals, lame animals, broke up animals, right? Anything to, again, but then accordingly it says that didn't have nothing to do with atoning your sin in the first damn place, but it was only for a condition of mind. So that's what this whole writing shit is about. Conditioning your mind to make you feel like you're a part of some shit, but they keep showing you, see, you ain't. Just like I told y'all when when going back to the Mike Brown, when they killed, when that whole situation, I seen some shit today on that where the store owner said some crazy shit, but anyway. So with the Mike Brown situation, right, you had an eyewitness that was there with him, that Dorian cat, right? Dude that was with him. But they had to make him, he can't tell the truth. Have any of y'all been in situations where you had to, you dealt with a situation, maybe it was with police or whatever, then you go get you some representation. And then you got any witnesses? You're like, yeah. Is they black? Like, doesn't matter. No, black people lie for black people. That's what they want to say. Black people lie for black people. As if white people don't lie for white people. Chinese people don't lie for Chinese people. But black people, no, y'all lie all the goddamn time. See, we lie so much to the fact that the truth caught up to y'all ass and it's ugly as fuck. But let me show what I'm talking about. You remember they say, oh, you black men always talking about going to jail for nothing and police harassing you. Now you see that shit everywhere you click on the goddamn YouTube. You see that shit all the fucking time. And guess what? They getting tired of seeing it. Because why? Vampire ain't never seen itself before. Ain't never seen itself before. And so now you keep showing them and showing them and showing them. And so now, can't take it. Can't take it now. See, that's why a troop is going to become, he say 3/5, Kimmy? Yeah. Some people say that was due for the fact of voting, right? Like they're going to say that was politically. But that's kind of one of them connotative language. Has cuts two ways. It's kind of like he's saying that like for the present time so that you don't feel like, well, He didn't look at you less than a human. He was only doing that because, you know, you guys overpopulated the South, and it would make it easier for those in the South to win, you know, to be in those seats. So what we did is look, you see that video I made when I broke that shit down? When them sisters was in there, and I showed you Holly Bear, and I showed you how they have a father look like this and that. Did y'all see that video? Now, the information I had got from that was a primary source information. And when they break that shit down, they basically calling you an animal. If you go back and look at, matter of fact, I'm going to prove to it right here. You ever heard of the word drapetomania? Drapetomania was at one time what they say when a slave wanted to run away due to it being the way he was treated, that was a sickness. Think about that shit. You mistreating the shit out of a motherfucker, doing all kind of shit to him, and you come up with a medical term that you trying to justify and say, this motherfucker trying to get away from me. Like, that ain't natural for somebody who getting that to get the fuck away from you. And that's what they're trying to like. You're supposed to sit there and take it. You see, the Bible says, give them the other cheek. Huh? See, that, you know, that all that nonsense. See, but if you had to put him in a situation, right, all that don't apply then. See, there's two different systems of law here. We see that all the time. Yeah, like I told y'all, going back to the Mike Brown situation, anytime that situation happened, and now that they were using this term to saying that he was fearful of his life, but there's an old English law that was it duel by combat? Yeah, duel by combat. The winner, God has judges the victor and the right one. That's what they've been hiding behind all this damn time. That's why them cops don't be getting their ass going to jail, because that goes back to that old English law. See, no matter how bad they can be, the law has always been in their favor. But when it comes to you, you can never be justly right. Like I said, if you got a witness and they black, they ain't not credible. Anytime you got black people, you're gonna lie. Wait a minute, we see this shit all day long in that place y'all call motherfucking government. We see all kinds of shit. But, you know, you could spin it, and then later on people learn, oh, who was lying. But at the time, they swear out, ain't nobody lying. You just making it, you're hateful and you're conspiracy and all that shit. When the truth of the matter, you know what the fuck you're doing. You know who the fuck you are. Why fuck the shit? In one aspect, I didn't have a problem with that motherfucker being in the White House, because I'm like, I've been telling motherfuckers this is what it's gonna be. This is who they is. And let me tell you why they really mad. Because you know, some motherfuckers prefer the motherfucker to smile in their face but hate them. They don't like the shit up in close up in your motherfucking face where motherfucker just telling you straight up like it is. You don't like that. But wouldn't you be better knowing that you know, like, would you be better off like, man, this is what it is. I respect a motherfucker. At least he's telling me the truth, and I know how to deal with him. We have understanding. But if a motherfucker smiling in my motherfucking face, and how the fuck do you do, you know what I'm saying? You at work and shit. Sarah smiling at you, Kimmy all day, everything good. But pissing in the coffee before you get there. You know what I'm saying? Like that one white girl did to that sister. She did all that shit to her, and they ain't do shit about that shit. See, that's what they don't like. See, when we start talking about the facts of the shit, we racist and hateful. When the fact is, it's you with the preponderance of evidence keep showing. You keep showing. Time and time again. Video is showing time and time again. But again, we the bad ones. We always, but yet, it's your conscience that is killing you. It is your conscience that is making you feel that, you know, my hatred towards them. It's nothing they really doing. It's just the fact that, you know, I don't like the fact that they know. Because there's a whole saying said, if I know you hate, right? Like say, If I know I did you wrong, I'm going to hate you more because you know I know that you did me wrong. And that's what we're dealing with here. They know they done did us wrong. But they know we know, and that makes them even angrier. That they know we know. But see this talk, what I'm saying, and people who think like me and talk like me, we the bad people. Because we're trying to just say, look, ain't nobody trying to do nothing to you, man. Just look, leave me the fuck alone, man. Leave me and us fucking alone. Let us go here doing what we doing. We ain't fucking with you. But see, somebody got a plan here. Somebody is stoking this fire up, trying to get both sides to get into this. Yeah, that motherfucker left. Yeah, I know who you was. I know I saw your ass left. Your ass left because I'm gonna talk that real talk. Because see, you can come and we could debate. And Muslim talk. You can come debate me on that topic. See, I ain't like the rest of them cats. I got the sword to have that talk with you. Because see, I done lived enough to know. And see the shit that they doing, most motherfuckers can't have that talk with them. Because they get to the point to be like, well, you know, no, it is what it is. You can't fool me with that. Show what we doing, the shit that we doing, then justify it. But all this other shit they doing, that shit ain't justifiable at all. You done did us wrong. You got us all fucked up. You got us looking crazy. You got our people warring with each other. And you sitting back like that shit is natural. Shit is not cool at all. Now, I ain't saying nothing about hating. I'm just saying this is what it is. They know what it is. But it's a crime. Because now, truth is becoming more of a crime. That's why I ain't going to be able to talk like this much longer. Because they're going to make it where you ain't going to be able to do this. You don't remember time when Mother used to could do that. Now it's going to be like the movie 1984, where you ain't going to be able to say that because everything is being camera, everything is being monitored, everybody being involved. Shit. That whole shit with that Don Quixote test, what that motherfucker, what would you do? That was the seed. That shit there was the seed. They was getting people to learn how to trick on each other. That's what they was doing. Getting people to learn how to tell on each other. What would you do? You see a situation, what would you do? I'm minding my motherfucking business. That's what I'm going to do. That's what I'm going to do. Now, don't get me wrong. If somebody doing some shit and somebody getting fucked up, you know, I might pick up the phone. It's you know, may do that depending on where I'm at. Right? So, but that ain't what they doing. They breeding a whole generation to be a certain way. So, like somebody in my family, you know what I'm saying? Some of the newer kids are being grown and staying here. You know, whether dad or grandpa or uncle talk like that, they turn your ass in. They don't be turning motherfuckers in like, damn, he talks like that. He's hateful. And not understanding ain't nothing that I'm saying is hateful. I could prove everything that I leave. Everything I say, I could prove. That's why, see, more leave, he'll come in and he'll leave. Because I'm going to say what he don't want to hear. He can hear it in me, what I'm saying. He know you ain't going to be able to do that with him. You can do all that other shit. You hide behind all the veils and shit they do. They use the system and all. That's fine. Okay, with it. But that ain't going to change the fact of the truth that's always going to be in it. See, they building the game for what they believe they're going to be forever. See? Again, like I said in the video, he stockpiling all the physical shit, but he couldn't understand the spiritual aspect that he can't do nothing. Yeah, he in the laboratory, and he trying to concoct some shit and come with some shit. He done came to business like, fuck it, I gotta do like a mechanic. If I could take the part out of that car and put it in this car, then the car can still run because they're kind of compatible. They're kind of like the same. This is another reason why Chicago seemed to be like the catalyst for, because see, like I say, got that old line, bloodline that's running up in there. Got that young, thoroughbred, vibrant, strong. Got a little drug, got some weed in it. They said, well, we can clean it out and put it in there. I do the shit anyway. Or matter of fact, they do way more drugs than we do anyway. Let's keep that shit 100. We know that shit. They do way more drugs. Do way more drugs than we do. So they want the body parts. Let me get that. Let me get that heart. Let me get that shit. Taking all that shit. So I ain't gonna keep going more, man, because I'm rambling. I like to be more concise and more precise as what I'm doing. But I really appreciate that y'all did show up tonight. Those who are new to this, go ahead, subscribe, get it in. I don't know if anybody put any likes up here. I guess I can look, but I guess I don't see none of that. But I'm thankful that y'all came out tonight. If anybody got something they want to say, I'll hang on for another 20 minutes. It's in the 2:40 hour. I didn't even think I was going to go this long. Somebody want to ask me something, here's your time to do it. I don't know, what they're going to do after today. You know what I'm saying? So if not, like I said, I gave the Gmail to hit me up, do what you can do. Give me some likes. Let's get me back on page. I've been on doing this for 6 years. I just haven't been doing it. And so, again, appreciate y'all, man. I mean, it was because of y'all and the people I seen that stayed. Like, my numbers didn't fluctuate when it came to my subscribers. It got to like 29, 39, but if you're looking at it, it's like 29, 34. And I looked at it, I was like, man, I ain't been on almost 2 years. I didn't think it was that long. I had put, remember, if y'all seen, I had put that one video that there was the return. That was in January. Today it's August 19. It still took me almost 7-8 months to get back from then. So for me to come out today and y'all to show up and I didn't see the number get as high as 12, people came in and out, man, I appreciate that so much, man. But again, I'm going to drop a video. Hopefully, I get it out soon. Because I just got to work out some of the kinks that some of this didn't work as well as I wanted to. But I'm going to have it right. And I'm going to upgrade and do all this other good stuff. And I'm going to keep informing y'all. But see, the stuff I look at, these other cats is not looking at. They're not looking. And they're not going to say nothing about it. It's because it's not like I don't have nothing to protect. It's just that we at a point we ain't got shit to lose. We at that point. We at that point where we ain't really got shit to lose. I mean, we got everything to lose. You understand? And so if we're not informed of some of the things that's being done, just being informed is enough. In time, I guess people will figure out what it is that need to be done. But information in itself is power in itself. And so the thing that the video that I did show, I don't know how clear it came out and concise it was, but it was just showing again that August 1st of this year, it was legal to actually make those guns that you could be made in a home if you got the technology, the computer technology. What is really a print machine. It's really a virtual 3D print machine. And these motherfuckers is going to be making all kinds of weapons undetected by the system. Why are they doing that shit? And why would you need to be doing it? I understand that there's a fear that people might be thinking that they're going to change the laws. But these motherfuckers been stacking them guns ever since Obama got in there. They've been doing that, right? They really did it again, right? So it's like, what are they in preparation for? So it's just for us to stay tuned, try to be as close to what the fuck is going on. I mean, we're not in the rooms, so we don't know exactly what the fuck, but there's a shit that they do let out. We have to be mindful of the shit that's being said, because all that shit is pertaining to us, some form of fashion. It ain't all like to the left. You understand? Like those sayings to be, if they get in the cold, we get pneumonia. But we better pay attention because winter coming. Something coming. You can't keep doing this and thinking that, this is going to be natural, that people just going to keep just getting beat down. And so I'm just saying, just on a natural, I mean, do we want that? Is that what we want? No. People would prefer to have peace if it can be done. But sometimes you could be provoked. And that's what I want to try to keep people informed. Motherfucker might be provoking you, trying to get you involved in some shit that they want you to do to justify what they want to do. So that's why you have to be a little bit more smart about how we moving out here. It can't be just, you know, reacting. Because you're getting to the point that some people want to react, and it's like, that's not good. You understand? That's not a good move. And the way some people look at it is, are you going to ever be in a position to be equivalent? That's really a dream, right? You're never going to be that. I mean, you ask yourself, you know, if you was even playing some kind of game, and if you winning, and even though you might ease up a little bit, but you ain't going to let the person win, you know? So you got to look at all that stuff. So again, man, I'm at the 2:45 mark. Shouldn't have been this long, but you know, I was glad that somebody was out here. I don't know how many agents out there, but I know at least 1 or 2, maybe 3 people out there. But anybody else, again, I don't say that to be like you're not, but I'm just saying you don't know. You never know who's out here looking. Again, it's just open. But I ain't saying nothing that I wouldn't tell them. I ain't saying nothing that like I'm talking about something that they ain't heard. Just, you know, sometimes they just don't want to hear you saying it direct. But hey, that's how I am. Again, I'm Mr. Blows Your Mind, y'all. Coming with this live video. And let's see if I can see if I can send y'all out. See if I can send y'all out. Let's send y'all out right way. Let's see if I can send y'all out right way. And this brother really don't want to work, do it. Okay. And if you ain't subscribed, I want to see your subscribership. I'm gonna come look for you. Let me add this. Right, when I do a live show, I'm gonna be looking for you to come and talk. You don't have to put your face out there. Your voice will be good enough. Let's see. Hold on. Kind of set up where I can have people call in too. I'm working on that. When I have it all together. I just kind of under the radar. No, I had told him about it, but he thought I was gonna do it either. This is it.
Remember, the enemy has only images and illusions, behind which he hides his true motives. Destroy the image, and you will break the enemy.
I'm here to tell you tonight that the businessmen, the mayor of this city, the police commissioner, and everybody in the white power structure of this city must take a responsibility for everything. Can you feel it?
Luther and I, and everyone in this arena tonight, are unified by the same great American values. We're proud of our country. We respect our flag. Wouldn't you love to see one of these NFL owners, when somebody disrespects our flag, to say, get that son of off the field right now, out, he's fired. He's fired!
Race is when you use your power and influence to subject people into inferiority. Utterances can't be racist.
Look around you, man. They own this shit. They own this couch you sitting on, them shoes you got on your feet, this building, this school, this country, you. We're behind enemy lines, dog.
So you must first of all remember that this system was not originally designed with black people in mind. Right on. people to, in the end, begin to demand their rights and an equal share in this country which they've died for. Right on. Hey, and we definitely are not going back to Africa.
In the church, we used to sing the song, "Good news, the chariot is coming." While you sit here today, knowing that you have come to hear good news, you must realize in advance what good news for you might be bad news for somebody else. What good news for the sheep might be bad news to the wolf.
They say, oh, things are getting so much better for you. In 1849, it was hitting blacks on the head 100 times a day. In 1990, they hit them 48 times a day. Isn't it better? Oh, it's got to be better. You're saved 52 blows.
The only purpose of most black Americans on earth today is to destroy.
I think that's noble. Italians love Italians. When Irish love Irish, but when a nigga loves a nigga, it's an unpardonable sin. They have blood in their hands. When we say they have blood in their hands, we are not saying him, George Bezos, went and killed. But white people colonized us. They dispersed us. They enslaved our people. They sucked our economy dry. They are still sucking it dry even today. That's white people. Tony Blair, George Bush, Napoleon Bonaparte, Leopold, Adolf Hitler, Benjamin Netanyahu. All white people, they are the same. They are racist and they are full of hate.
I've been waiting for you. You have many questions, and though the process has altered your consciousness, you remain irrevocably human. Ergo, some of my answers you will understand, and some of them you will not. Concordantly, while your first question may be the most pertinent, you may or may not realize it is also the most irrelevant. Why am I here?
Our world is coming crumbling down. The coons are coming.
You got to understand that white America has an uncanny way of making the victim the victimizer. Excuse me, master, for putting my head in the way of your club. Not that your club is brutalizing my head and putting hickeys on it. My head got in the way of your free swing and broke your shiny stick, and I want to apologize for that.
Your life is the sum of a remainder of an unbalanced equation inherent to the programming of the Matrix. You are the eventuality of an anomaly which, despite my sincerest efforts, I have been unable to eliminate from what is otherwise a harmony of mathematical precision. While it remains a burden assiduously avoided, it is not unexpected and thus not beyond a measure of control, which has led you inexorably here.
There are more connections in the human body than there are stars in the galaxy. We possess a gigantic network of information to which we have almost no access.
Matrix is older than you know. I prefer counting from the emergence of one integral anomaly to the emergence of the next, in which case this is the 6th version.
5 months before me. There are only 2 possible explanations. They were 5 months before me. Either no one told me, or no one knows.
Precisely. As you are undoubtedly gathering, the anomaly is systemic, creating fluctuations in even the most simplistic equations.
Control me! I'm gonna smash you to
Choice. The problem is choice.
Let us remember that we are not brutalized because we're Baptists. We're not brutalized because we're Methodists. We're not brutalized because we're Muslims. We're not brutalized because we're Catholics. We're brutalized because we are black people in America.
Him to be what he is. They made him to look evil because that's their role, to make all of us black people to look evil and to hate ourselves. I can't hate.
You're a nigga till you die. If you're a poor nigga, you're a poor nigga. If you're a rich nigga, you're a rich nigga. But you never stop being a nigga. And if you get to be educated, you're just an educated nigga.
I'm told every day I'm on air that I'm racist because I call out racism. That is maddening to me, and I'm crying about it because it's crazy.
So the Honorable Elijah Muhammad is teaching you and I and trying to tell the white man to get this powder keg out of his house. Let the black man separate from his house. Let the black man have his own house. Let the black man have his own land and his own property.
I thought the bitch was white! Damn it! I thought the bitch was white!
That's true. I think that white people are so guilty, knowing what they've done to black people, that they feel if the deeds were reversed, they would hate the black man if he had done the same thing to them. So it's actually, it reflects a guilt complex on the part of whites when they ask us, do we hate them? And if you notice, Uncle Sam has formed a habit of going all over the world. He calls it the ugly American or the American image. He thinks that everybody hates him because it's a guilt complex. And if you think that if you are worried about Europeans hating you, and they're your allies and your cousins, well, naturally it would follow for you to think that Negroes in this country would hate you, especially in light of what has been done to black people in this country by